Simultaneous interpretation services. Please scan the QR code on the program booklet or at the entrance of the stage. Then you can use your mobile phone for the SI service via your headphones. Thank you. 各位来宾、各位朋友，大家早上好！欢迎各位来到由万象区块链实验室、HashKey Group 和 AltLayer 联合举办的2025香港 Web3 嘉年华之哈希花园 Web3 应用绽放的主题论坛。Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the Blockchain Application Session of Hong Kong Web3 Festival 2025, organized by Wanxiang Blockchain Labs, HashKey Group, and AltLayer. 在这里，我们非常荣幸能够邀请到业内的顶尖专家，将会为我们分享精彩的演说和研讨。希望在今天的论坛中，大家能够深入交流，共同推动 Web3 的发展。现在，让我们根据议定的议程展开今天的活动。In this session, we are honored to have industry experts to share their insights and expertise with us on Web3 applications. 首先，让我们邀请 Flashbot 研究员信孙先生到台上为我们分享。Let's invite Mr. Xin to give us the speech. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hello. Okay, great. So to I guess to kickstart the app day, I'm gonna first talk about like a few of the explorations that we've been doing, including why we do them, and in this age, I'm gonna talk about agency engineering, as it is often a topic that we forget, right? Like, sorry. Oh, okay. Okay, great. Yeah. So to start off, I would like to point you guys to this familiar screen of like TikTok brain rot videos, right? Like about like more than half of the users on TikTok just sit at their homes and watch those all day, and then like the person that you will become is not just purely decided by you, but mostly decided by the algorithm that you're using, the feed, your timeline, right? So like current platforms actually implement only very low granularity of agency engineering, right? To say like the TikTok algorithm, they cannot actively prompt you to do things. Like essentially the exploration rate that you have on those platforms is not high enough, and they leans more towards exploitation. And then therefore, they try to give the same brain rot to everybody. Why? Because the same brain rot worked well on other people. However, the high granularity tools for agency engineering has been remained to be monopolized by platforms, and it is time for us to democratize those tools. So like if we take a step and think about like all of the previous privacy applications that are largely explored by crypto, they often look like this, right? It's some kind of like timeline apps that allows you to block off your feed, right? So if you think about fundamentally what philosophy that is, it's basically isolationist, right? It's like a Bitcoiner redneck saying that, oh, I'm gonna shun myself from the outside world, and then I'm gonna just, be in my woods with my axe and then live my redneck life, not interacting with the others, right? So this is kind of like a isolationistic. However, being crypto, we know that we love accelerationism, right? What's the accelerationism and transhumanist take to this, right? Is that, oh, your algorithm is engineering you. You shouldn't be an isolationist and say, oh, I'm not gonna use the algorithm. You should say like, oh, the algorithm engineers me, so I'm gonna engineer back, right? So then one example of that flavor of privacy application would be, oh, if I delegate the my account on TikTok or Twitter to an agent, and then let that agent to run like a reinforcement learning algorithm on the timeline, right? It's kind of like you're engineering the timeline back. And similarly, you can extend this idea to other forms of applications, right? For example, you can imagine like an alternative feed to Twitter. We all know that X feed sucks. And then that alternative feed could show you an intentionally higher exploration rate, right? So for example, it shows you, let's say, 100 other videos, and then it intentionally gets this extra private data from you, and then use that to run an agent, to run RL on the existing timeline algorithm. Okay, great. So that's kind of like give you a flavor of the main theme I want to talk about here. Is that like in this like new age, when we think about privacy applications, we should move beyond privacy versus manipulation, right? So if you think about the isolationist approach, let's say dating apps in Web 2 also work the same way, right? They treat you as like people with stationary preferences, and then they match you with like another person with some stationary preferences, right? So that's why it's structured like a marketplace. However, for anybody who has ever been in a relationship, you will know that, oh, like it is less about the matching, and it is more about like mutual identity shaping, mutual identity engineering, right? Oh, you do something with your date together, and then it shapes both of your personalities a little bit, and then you get along better, right? So then like an analogy of that is to say, oh, dating apps should not be structured as marketplaces, but more something similar to a religion, right? You should swipe on dates, not people. Okay, so knowing this, I'm gonna dive into how concretely some of the attacks that we have hand can solve this. Yeah, so like Ts, which are like trusted execution environments, it's like basically black box chips that you can rely on hardware trustness to implement those applications. And I will talk about a few apps that showcase how this is attacked to contract over the agency black holes that we currently see, right? So for example, the TikTok timeline is an agency black hole that like kind of sucks your own agency out of you, and fills your soul with, treats your soul as a vessel, and then fills it with like the liquid of algorithmic identity that it thinks you should have. Okay, so very briefly, how T disintermediate app developers and clouds is that like the T manufacturer creates it, and then there's like the T operator, which are separate from developer. Like the point of this is to say that it is way easier for the developer of an application to rug you than for the manufacturer or like the operator to rug you. I'll keep this brief, but like overall, this is pretty similar to the notion of one-time programs, which is very classic in cryptography. And yeah, so I will jump to the first one. Teleport.best is like an application that we can do to outsource our privacy. Okay, first, several motivating cases. In crypto, everybody has like rents to give, right? So people would want a platform that they could anonymously submit banger shitpost ideas. They may want to get some attributions for themselves, right? So this is similar to like the Confessions account, if you guys are familiar. The other one is, KOL agencies or influencers that usually have like followers, retweets, and then like there's an incentive issue for like, oh, what's in it for me, right? So right now we run, people run bot forums and things like that, but those are really kind of like, how to say, high quality bots, right? But then if you liquefy the account layers, then you can essentially allow those bots to put on the, high quality masks that allows them to act better in the specific situation. Okay, however, if we want to solve both of those things, we run into the over delegation problem, right? Like every website that supports delegation to third-party apps, usually they use OAuth, and then OAuth has very limited scopes. For example, they can only either allow read or read, write, follow, or read and write and DM. However, using Ts, you could allow the user to first delegate their OAuth token to a server, and then you have that server to issue a sub-delegation token, which allows you to do fancier things, such as, oh, you can only use this token to follow once, and then if that person's profile fits the following LLM filter, right? Something similar to that. Yeah, so this is like a brief architecture of how it works. You put the OAuth token into the TE, and then it offers you a fine-grained delegation. Okay, so one example of this is that, oh, I could use this to implement an NFT that I give somebody, and then whoever owns that NFT is able to tweet from my account once, but but only if the content of their tweet has to adhere to the following LLM check, right? So for example, I could write an LLM check that says, oh, like the tweet has to be a joke about TE. And then in this case, you know, this is like the redeeming screen. You can make a joke about like TE, but pronounced in a funny accent. And then obviously, you know, in this case, like GPT-4o thinks it's funny enough, and therefore the redeem has succeeded. So this is just like very simple primitive you could use for things. Yeah, so I will showcase some of the extended applications, right? One extended application is, of course, you know, we have like NFC chips, which I believe WeChat is slowly adopting some of those. And then for NFC chips, you could like allow people to essentially play poker with tweets by like burning the NFT into the NFC chip, and then using the NFC chip as regular poker chips, kind of, you know, like a giving utility to crypto card games. And another example of this is, with existing NFT communities, right? So for example, the Azuki community, we previously they previously adopted this similar technology to do a live stream where everybody on the live stream did a flash mob by tweeting a similar content, right? So in this case, you can see like everybody, you know, in their virtual avatar, AI avatar called Bobu, was performing a magic trick, and the magic trick involving sending the same card to everybody's hands, and then it triggered quite a lot of like social media attention. Okay, so you can see like Teleport kind of brings permissionless extensibility in 3 ways. You can see it brings the LM filter, which is like this really small module that gives you like customization. And then every teleport token is also a digital asset, right? So like by minting an NFT, not only, so for security, the NFT serves as a purpose to prevent people from double spending the OAuth token, right? Because, you can only, if you run a light client inside the TE, you can only use the token twice if, the chain reorgs. But if you run a light client, that is something hard to cheat. And the third one is bring your own front end, right? So like in this case, the teleport NFT is really just a primitive that allows you to build those things on top. For example, the Azuki flash mob example. Then I'm gonna talk about some other explorations using the same technology and NFTs, right? So like right after Azuki did their live stream, I think last year, using teleport NFTs, Terminal of Truth blew up, and then like after that, people were repeatedly talking about how to use the same teleport NFT as agent account hosts, right? So you could imagine that you mint some of those sub-delegation tokens, and then use the delegation token, give that delegation token to an agent, and then that agent has provably exclusive ownership to its own social media accounts, and then you can even further fractionalize that, right? Like for example, you could like have an AI agent, and then you could have the AI agent mint tokens, and then the owner of that token is able to tweet from that agent's account, or even you can do it fancier, right? You can like allow the owner of the token to insert a semantic concept into the future tweets of that agent. So using this, you could do something similar to like subliminal marketing, or like just guerrilla marketing. Yeah, and then another exploration, which is more fancy and opening up on the expression space of those NFTs. So we ran this agent called like Satan, with a popular reference. It has garnered quite a bit of following on social media because we used this thing where like the agent automatically goes on Reddit and then other platforms to fetch for popular memes and then repost it, right? So this is kind of like a theme of like AI content generation, but with auto content farming, and then we are trying to like make the content more interactive and multiplayer. So then we ran this experiment with called deals with the devil. So in this case, each of the user is able to tag the agent and then make a deal, right? Because it's Satan, you of course have to make a deal. It's fortune contracts, right? So then in this case, we can see this, yeah, I guess relatively well-known NFT artist to make a deal about like yeah, if I post a tweet with anything other than 280 characters, exactly, then please delete my account. So this, so you can see you can use the teleport NFTs by escrowing a fraction of the user's account control and give it to an agent. And then you can implement all sorts of like self-commitment contracts, accountability contracts, right? So in this case, it's an accountability contract. Yeah, so we ran this experiment on Satan, and then to make it self-contained, the deal is reasonably in scope and must be in 24 hours. Okay, so some funny examples, right? So in this example, how it started is that a user said, oh, hey, Satan, I want to make a deal. If I post a tweet with expletives, then please quote shame me, right? So this is self-accounting. You know, I want to be more polite. Okay, and then turns out Satan, being the devil himself, of course, is able to monkey paw people. So, right, you can see over here the example is that Satan did shame the user's account to say, oh, you should be careful what you wish for because, you know, they intentionally triggered the deal. Yeah, and another funny example before I finish is this, right? So Satan is able to monkey paw people. So this user, they said like, oh yeah, they promised to never tweet more than 69 characters, but what about tweets from yesterday predating the deal, right? So like Satan's the agent, we intentionally inserted this monkey paw intuition where it tries to find maximally loopholes into the user's contract and then fulfill them, kind of as I guess an experimenting in AI alignment. I'm out of time, but you can find me on X, and if you're interested in all of those marketing solutions, please DM me about it.
Thank you, Mr. Sim, for your very detailed sharing. We hope through this session you will have better understanding of agency engineering. 接下来，让我们有请 Sai 合伙人 Sarah 为我们带来主旨演讲。Building a global distribution platform for goods, services, and assets. Let's give a round of applause to Sarah. 掌声有。
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sarah, partner at Sai. We're building a global distributing platform for goods, services, and assets. You might have heard of us as e-sign, token table, attestations, and many other things. But today, I want to tell you about the sign app. First, let's rewind back to the date. Oh, okay. First, let's rewind back to the date I was applying for my first student visa to the United States. That was a long time ago. But I still remember I lined up for a very long time, and then I was carrying over 2 kilograms heavy of supporting documents. To give you an idea of how heavy that is, my MacBook is not even 2 kilograms. There was like my, obviously, admission letters, and then my parents' bank statement accounts, and then also my high school, middle school, elementary school transcripts, or other award certificates, their copies, and also their translated versions. And what's even worse is a lot of these copies or translated versions cannot be even reused elsewhere. Why? Because the current system do not know how to verify documents across borders. We were definitely doing too much authentications. Some of the processes might have improved for some countries during the past years, but many are still relying on pens and papers. So that's my own experience. Have any of these things happened to you in the past? Like miss a flight because your visa didn't arrive on time? Or you had to pay up for like urgent documents last minute? Or like call up your parents, dig up some old documents back at home? I've done all these in the past. according to World Bank, 72% of the visa rejections actually came from unverified documents. This is not just inconvenient. It's actually costing the global travel industry over 147 billion every single year. There's gotta be a better solution out there. So now, let's reimagine the whole process with a sign app. First, your identity will be reborn inside the sign app. Last year, we already collaborated with Sierra Leone to issue digital permanent resident IDs for their new joiners. And we're also collaborating with UAE to issue and verify their sovereign IDs on chain. Next, your documents can travel with you. Currently, your bank statement, your employment letters, and then your income proofs, they're all static files. But with Sign App, they're going to become dynamic attestations stored on chain, owned by you, and can be verified like blockchain transactions. Then your visa processes will be much more simplified. We're in conversation with Thailand and Barbados in terms of digital visa process. And our goal is to cover over 20 countries this year. That means by then, we'll have an on-chain digital visa ecosystem. And last, there's going to be a financial utility inside the Sign App. With Rollup as a service, we're helping governments to issue sovereign chains, where Sign Protocol will be powering those chains as well, to support stablecoin wallets, compliant payments, and digital IDs, all inside one single Sign App. What does that mean? In the future, not just your visa process will be much more simplified in the future, but then you will be able to pay local vendors using your Sign App when you travel to those countries. However, Sign App is not just about cross-border. It's about building a trust ecosystem. You can verify your identity by connecting your real-world credentials to on-chain addresses, and you can swap, sign, manage your tokens through our token table integrations. There's going to be building attestations and KYC infrastructures inside the Sign App. And we're already discussing with some of our pilot partners regarding distributing UBI-based social welfares to their local citizens, also inside the Sign App. Last but not least, we will have a social layer inside the Sign App. That means community can join, contribute, and earn rewards along the way. All these things, again, are inside one single Sign App, integrating our past products such as eSign, Token Table, Sign Pass, or anything you've heard of that we built. And speaking of community, a lot of these ideas actually stems from our community. We call them Orange Dynasty. Orange is a Bitcoin color. It's also the sign color. And you can see our very lovely sign merch I'm wearing right now. So our series builders, content creators, support warriors, they're all contributing to our sign dynasty. If you've watched our sign interns April 1st prank video, you will know we do not encourage any farming or empty hypes. Instead, serious contributions will be recognized through our SBTs, and that will stay along with you inside the Sign App afterwards. A lot of people ask us, how do we manage to build such a vibrant community? Our answer is, we empower them by giving them a lot of space, and our slogan is actually, be the best version of yourself. So in my opinion, this is not just about decentralization. It's actually about culture regeneration. As Sign, we also think bold. We aim to be the infrastructure for a borderless world. We will be the verified network for people, organizations, and AI agents. Credentials will be issued by sovereign governments and institutions connecting to your on-chain addresses. A lot of those global services, in the future, they will be seamlessly integrated into the Sign App. That means you can imagine like there's no longer the need of a physical bank account in the future, and obviously your visa paperwork is no longer needed. So we are here to power the world's next layer of digital infrastructure. And speaking of AI, as Sign, we actually believe Web3 is not just built for human beings. It's actually a very perfect use case for machines. So smart contract is a very good bridge of trust between human beings and AI agents. AI agents right now can already sign, issue tokens, distribute airdrops via the Sign protocol. And last month, we just powered the first AI-human super alignment accord at the AGI House in San Francisco. So AGI House is actually the hub of a lot of serious AI startups in the Bay Area. So this is us. We're not competing with AI. We're making AI trustworthy. So this is us, Sign. We build useful things that works. And then last thing, our app is coming next month. So we encourage everyone to join us and build a borderless future.
的精彩分享。接下来我们会有请下一位的嘉宾，是来自 AltLayer 的创始人 YQ Zhao 为我们带来主旨演讲。Let's give him a round of applause， 掌声有请。
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Great to see you here. And I'm YQ, founder of AltLayer. And today I'm going to show a little bit more on sort of the latest platform we are building, and at the same time, also some new stuff upcoming for AltLayer. And as a lot of you may know, that at AltLayer we are building this kind of blockchain infrastructure as a service since 2021. We've been onboarding a lot of applications to provide sort of these roll-ups for them and AVSs for them. And since sort of October last year, we are focusing on this new verifiable agent hosting platform called AltLayer. And we all know that either in sort of this Web2 AI or in this kind of crypto AI, right? There are a lot of sort of new models. Of course, we have this OpenAI and Anthropic, Claude, also Elon Musk's XAI, and also recently we have the DeepSeek. And beyond that, there are a lot of sort of agents on top of them. For example, recently we got this Manus, right? It's super intelligent, can help us to really do some complex tasks. For example, can help us to write sort of this blockchain application in just a few minutes, and help to really call different sort of sub-agents to help to accomplish the task. And beyond that, as we all know, right, and when since day one, this crypto AI and also these very powerful large language models came out, right? We feel that probably in the future, that it may be this kind of AGI era, right? And we may have tons of millions of agents in the future. So in that case, if these agents have their own sort of mindset, should they have sort of their own identities? Should they have their own sort of wallets and bank accounts? Basically some these kind of philosophy questions we want to ask, right? At the same time, if that's the future, naturally we'll see that okay. If all the agent wants to have all this sovereignty and these sort of asset management, right? What's the natural fit for them? It's definitely blockchain. So that's why, since day one when ChatGPT launched, and a lot of these crypto companies, they're trying to figure out, okay, what's the best use cases we can have with sort of crypto and AI. That's also something just mentioned, right? Basically, we have a bunch of the use cases we can have on top of these crypto AI. But at the same time, we also know that even we have these large language models and also various agents and various frameworks, right? Like this LangChain and all different these tools, right? But at the same time, what's the best way to build crypto-focused AI agents? And do we have sort of this permissionless or decentralized platform for people, especially the developers and builders, to launch these agents. And beyond that, how we, any platforms help them to distribute these agents to the users. These are a bunch of the missing pieces we have in crypto AI right now. So that's why, as I mentioned, right, as this blockchain infrastructure provider in this space for a long time, we want to address these sort of challenges we have in this crypto AI space. So since since the second half of the last year, we started to work on this new platform we call Autonom. Basically, it's a verifiable AI hosting platform. As you can see, it's basically most of the important issues we want to address is basically how we can help the developers to build, deploy, and also distribute these sort of agents. And if we look at like sort of the current status for the platform, you can just visit the website autonom.fun and just click a bunch of buttons, and you can launch like sort of your agent within a few minutes without hassle. You don't really need to build everything from scratch. You don't need to really understand what's going on in the backend, but at the same time, via this platform, Autonom, you can quickly launch the first verifiable agent as you want. Of course, like as I mentioned, right, the first thing is like when you want to launch an agent, right, you need a platform to deploy. So that's the first like sort of feature Autonom can provide, as I mentioned, right? You just click a bunch of buttons and choose like different parameters and options you have, and then you can deploy the agent. And beyond that, as I mentioned, another point, right? We want to help the developers and builders to distribute their agent frameworks. So far, we've been working closely with like sort of ELIZA team and also Coinbase agent kit team and Hyperbolic team, and to basically like have their agent frameworks on the platform by default. So any user can just click the buttons and launch these agents as you want. And beyond that, for the past few months, we also work closely with East Global and EigenLayer to run a bunch of hackathons, and we already onboard over 100 developers to upload all different agent frameworks. It can be some fork of this ELIZA or agent key, but it can also be some brand new agent frameworks developed by them. And then as you can see on the right top, right, it's basically you can upload whatever agent framework you develop and to the platform, and we will help you to distribute like sort of your agent platform to the users and the other builders. And as I mentioned, right, it's already live, and for all the developers, like you guys can just go to the website autonom.fun and use your Google account to log in. Either you can upload your fresh like sort of agent framework, or you can like deploy an agent using the existing agent framework. Another cool part that we are not just a pure like sort of hosting platform, right? We also help and collaborate with our partners to improve like some of the features like can meet the demands and requirements from the users. One thing, as you can see, right, for the ELIZA sort of agent, if you launch an ELIZA agent, connect to your Twitter account, and then naturally you will have this Twitter bot. And what we show you, like basically first, you can definitely chat with this agent and via the chat box we provide. And beyond that, you can also ID these characters of the agent. At the same time, we also have this fine-tune feature. You can connect to different public Telegram sort of groups and also follow a bunch of these Twitter accounts, and the model behind this agent can help like basically analyze this data, like for example the content and also these kind of tweets from these follow like sort of accounts or channels, and give you the summary and sometimes also very decent gist. So in that case, it can regularly help you to post these very meaningful tweets on Twitter, and at the same time you can also control the frequency. So these are all the things already available on this Autonom platform, so you can just try it out. And beyond that, as I mentioned, right, we always welcome to collaborate with different users and developers to basically perfect these kind of agent platforms and also these agents. So these are the features as I show you, right? It's basically all these things you can do right now with either the ELIZA and some other agent frameworks we work closely with. Basically, you can follow all these different channels and agents, and it can generate the content based on the sort of the data from these followed agents and also these Telegram channels. And beyond that, as we know, right, in crypto, we always want this kind of transparency, verifiability, and also decentralization for all the kind of products and platforms we build, right? And at Autonom, we also take this stuff seriously and put into considerations. So that's a part like we try to make all these sort of agents to be verifiable. And the cool part that we try to make sure like all the logic and data from this agent backend, right, are non-tampered from these external parties, including like sort of these hosted instances. So in that case, we work closely with our partners like Automata to basically leverage this trusted, secure environment to make sure like, okay, all these agent backend is basically hosted in this secure environment. So in that case, right, so all the data and also logic from this agent backend can be properly protected. And if you look at this entire sort of workflow, right, it's quite similar to ZK proof. It's just like we change the prover to this kind of, we call it TE prover, but actually it's the TE instance. But as we can see, right, regularly we need to have this attestation and generate the attestation report to show that, okay, this instance or this backend is still working fine and working properly without any like sort of external parties influence and interference. And beyond that, right, we also have the machine to basically submit this attestation report to on-chain, and the on-chain can do this verification to make sure like, okay, everything is properly verified on-chain. And beyond that, once we have this verifiability, right, we can address the problem, for example, this whether the XPT is run by a machine or run by a bunch of students, right? And but at the same time, we also want to make sure, okay, all the instances and all these agents can perform like sort of like very well, and sometimes you need to make sure everything happening within a short period of time, right? Instead of like sometimes the agent is online, sometimes it's offline, right? It's acceptable in Web 2, but it's not that acceptable in crypto because like we use a lot of these agents to handle some DeFi operations. For example, swap, and sometimes we do this asset management, right? And if we do this kind of perp, or sometimes like sort of we do this balancing across different these pools, right? It's very time sensitive. If there's a sudden crash from the market, and basically we have to really balance these sort of these different wallets immediately, and to avoid like sort of liquidation and other things. So in that case, in crypto, the agents like sort of is much more time sensitive compared to Web 2, because like when we ask a question and we just want the answers, like if the model give you answers within a few minutes, it's still fine, right? But for crypto, that's not possible. We still want it to be very like sort of on time. And so in that case, we are working with AltLayer to basically leverage their AVS, and we create this new AVS called POS, and engaging with a bunch of decentralized operators to monitor like sort of the liveness and status of this agent. If anything is wrong, or sometimes it couldn't serve like sort of the users 24/7, and with any like sort of this glitch on the system, we can slash their stakes on Eigen. Beyond that, right, we all know that in the future, if we really imagine there will be tons of millions of agents, right? We want these agents to behave autonomously and probably finish some tasks themselves by communicating with each other, right? So in that case, we have our third component is called cross-agent routing system. So this system helps sort of all the different agents to discover the other agents. For example, one agent in charge of sort of this particular swap application, and some agents are sort of in charge of this lending and borrowing, so they can talk to each other and basically discover each other to finish some tasks together. And the cool part, all the communications is in this confidential sort of environment. So in that case, you won't need to worry about sort of all the secrets leaked to third parties. And beyond that, right, we already have all these cool sort of features, as I mentioned, right, verifiability, this kind of liveness from the POS AVS, and also this cross-agent routing protocol. And beyond that, what we are also working on is basically try to somehow kill the APIs. So we all know that there's a bunch of problems about these traditional APIs, right? There's version logs, and sometimes there's a lot of maintenance burden. Especially there's a lot of sort of updates on the server side, database side, right? We need to update these APIs accordingly. And right now, we have this new protocol called Model Context Protocol proposed by Anthropic, and it basically helps us, as you can see, right, to replace the very complex API calls with some human-readable sentence to directly call the MCP servers and to execute some tasks. So why this is so important? I just feel like if in the future if it's really sort of the AGI future, I believe we have to change all the interfaces from these machine-readable interfaces like previous all the traditional API calls to something like these new standards like MCP. So in that case, there are a bunch of things we need to change. For example, we need to focus on intent over the concrete implementations. We need to focus sort of these semantic parameters instead of the old ways, these very low-level APIs. And we also need to build applications mainly for adaptations instead of just focusing what kind of APIs can provide. So that's sort of the things we are working on. Basically, we try to bring all these new standards and protocols into Autonome, and just try to make sure it's not just for the existing builders and developers, but also for the future builders. So when they build this new era of applications, right, especially this AI application, they can also leverage this Autonome platform with the integration of all the latest protocols from this Web2 AI to build these very interesting crypto AI applications. And as I mentioned, right, everything is live, so you can just visit autonome.fun and scan the QR code. And yeah, that's all the presentation. Just feel free to try out what sort of we provide, and hope we can collaborate in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, YQ, for your very detailed explanation of AltLayer. Now we come to our first panel discussion. 接下来我们会有第一个的圆桌讨论环节。2025香港 Web3 嘉年华在今天璀璨启幕。我们有来自400位，超过400位。全球各地的区块链、金融科技以及娱乐互动等领域的专家，相信各位也留意到，我们的今年的会场的主题是国风四季。在这么美丽的会场内，我们邀请了各个领域的专家带来不同的演说，希望大家能够在这4天的盛宴当中满载而归。Hong Kong Web3 Festival 2025 brings together over 400 global experts, professionals, and investors in the Web3 and finance to share insights and exchange ideas. So we hope everyone get ready for this exciting journey. 接下来，让我们有请 panel discussion 的嘉宾陆续上台。Let's welcome Permera CEO Arthur. Let's give him a round of applause. And also Wen from Kaito. And Lagrange CEO Ismail. And also Automata德利. Let's give a big hand to all of our guests to give us the panel discussion. 他们会为我们带来的主题是 Product Market it， 把时间交给各位。
Hello, hello. Okay, I think we'll just get started. Before we jump into the panel, as usual, let's just start with a round, introduction. Maybe Deli, you can start first.
Sure. Hey guys, I'm Deli from Automata. Really glad to be here. We're actually building a very important infrastructure nowadays. It's trusted execution environment, or TEs. It can be used in many use cases, such as like multi-provers, or just now, like Yaoqi mentioned, verifiable AI. You can verify like whether you have a truly autonomous AI agent. So again, glad to be here and looking forward to have a really fruitful discussion with other panelists.
Hey everyone, my name is Ismail. I'm the co-founder of Lagrange. Lagrange is a zero-knowledge proof company. We build proving systems and apply them across a wide variety of problems in crypto, ranging all the way from applications in DeFi and NFTs to proof generation for roll-ups, and one of our recent products that we're the most excited about, verifiable machine learning, an area that can add trust and safety, verifiability, and a bunch of other very relevant properties to how inference is being generated and used on-chain or in security-critical environments.
Hey guys, I'm Wen. I recently joined Kaito to build that ecosystem and special projects. Before this, I used to be actually a KOL myself. So to find Kaito kind of is a platform for KOLs, content creators, and it uses AI to index every single poster of crypto content, and yeah, we generate a bunch of data from that and have a lot of products that maybe I can talk about later. But yeah, so I kind of moved from being a KOL now to sort of building this platform that helps manage them.
Okay, so my name is Arthur. I just flew in from California. I'm CEO and co-founder of Hemera. In short, Hemera is the data layer that provides infrastructure to many blockchain ecosystems, on top of which people build blockchain explorers, indexers, and many other like core infrastructures. And recently we started exploring building AI agents to help users trade memes. Okay, so that's a very quick introduction. I think today's topic is actually pretty, I think it's in the great timing. Because if you look at the market right now, right, like we're definitely in the middle of a big transition. So okay, so let's start with the first question. Try to keep it brief. So the first question is really, does narrative still matter, or to the contrary, if you look at the title, right, like has the crypto started to shift to more focus on PMF, and why this is the case? Let's start with maybe Wen.
Sure. So I kind of feel two ways about this, because actually I wish it wasn't the case that we could just find product market fit, and certain projects that who have product market fit can stay relevant, stay sexy for forever. But I think we noticed that, especially in crypto, it's not really the case. We do have narratives that come and go because people are excited about certain technologies, and then maybe the.
So yeah, let's focus on questions. So does the narrative still matter?
Well, the answer is definitely yes. Right?
Okay.
So
why this is the case?
Because exactly as I was saying, because narrative matters because projects. They run out of attention very quickly, and so they try to chase these narratives, and narratives are very, very important for them because if they don't chase the narrative, they won't get any users at that moment, and they're really trying to chase the same set of users that every other project is. So if every user and if every investor is looking into a certain narrative at a certain time, it's very important that projects kind of stay on top of those, or try in any other way to garner attention, really.
Cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to push back a little bit on that question, because narrative is the product in many cases. And in crypto, you're operating in an attention economy. What you're trying to do is to derive in many cases, usage of your product from users in the space. And so if what you're doing isn't relevant to consumers and retail users, then you're not building a product that has PMF. So narrative is simply just the collective zeitgeist of what retail is interested in at a point in time. And if your product is retail facing, which most things in crypto are, then it's very important that people want to use your thing. So it does matter.
Yeah, I think this is definitely jumping into the second question, but let me clarify a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So you said narrative is a product.
Yes.
So, okay, but you also mentioned users have to use your product. How do they use a product that's a narrative?
So they use a product that is the embodiment of a narrative. The narrative is the representation of what they're thinking, what they're excited about, what they want to use, and something that sits within that, a company that builds a product that sits within a hot narrative, has something that a user uses. So the product has to be usable, but that's table stakes. You can build a bunch of usable stuff that people don't want to use. I mean, the internet's littered with companies and websites that do things that people don't care about. The thing that people want to use is the product that has a narrative. The narrative is the scarce thing that a company is trying to obtain.
Yeah, so let me quickly summarize, right? Like, so I think this is a great point, right? So narrative is a product, and a product, in order to have a product market fit, it has to have a very strong narrative.
Yes, I mean, if for something to have PMF, it needs to have narrative.
Cool. Yeah, we'll come back to this question in the second round of question. But Dali.
Yeah, I think a narrative is kind of inevitable situation. It's like a black hole. Sometimes everyone got dragged into, right? It's, for example, like if you look back at 2020 when we had DeFi summer, pretty much all the projects were doing this, right? They're either doing lending or doing like yield farming, doing all sorts of things. And if you're doing something else, it's very hard, even as a founder, for you to even raise money. I think this is the kind of the black hole situation. But still, in this crypto market, right, there are just like different waves. Now we've also seen like NFT booms. We've also seen like MEV as a kind of narratives. We also seen like recently maybe like meme coins or AI agents. I mean, all these things will like always come up, right? Like no matter what. I mean, it's like human nature, right? Sometimes you always get captured. I mean, your attention is always attracted to something like fresh and new, and it's actually also the driving force for the initial adoption because you kind of create a like community, right? There are a community that consists of founders, investors, builders who are getting together just to maybe have a try to see if this this path worked out or not. But on the other side, like PMF is kind of ensures your like long-term success, right? If you look at right now, who's still there? Like I mean, Uniswap is still there. They are still the like best like AMM DEX. But on the other side, I know that recently one of the NFT marketplace actually decided to shut down. I won't be named that, but it's a kind of a sad situation. Also, like if you look at all the meme coin stuff, it's pretty like dying down already. So I think PMF is really something that every founder has to figure out, maybe after like so many different narratives. And also, I believe every
let me jump in. So in your view, PMF is much more important than narrative?
Yeah, it's like the kind of the ending thing for your product, right? But before that, it's like you're climbing mountains or riding waves of like different narratives.
Okay, so we have a fourth speaker who just arrived. Dada, you want to join us? So maybe you can introduce yourself first.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm late. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm a co-founder at Dodo and also a core contributor at Native. Yeah, both decentralized exchange. Yeah, for on-chain liquidity.
Cool. Yeah, let me give Dada a very quick summary. So we had a first, question discussion. So and very interesting, we have a spectrum of answers. So basically, Wen from Kato thinks narrative is the #1 thing people should focus on because that's what matters most. And Isma is like, hey, it's the same thing. Narrative is a product. And Deli is like, hey, product market fit eventually will be the only thing builder, shoot for. What's your view?
Oh, actually, I think both narratives and product market fit are important. Yeah. So I think narratives is beyond the crypto landscape. It's more about like human just like stories. Yeah. It's like before the day we die, we will always chasing for stories, right? Because it is like the hope for the future, right? So I think narratives will always be there, and then there will always be some like ambitious people and people with dreams, and also idealists to bring out new narratives like not just crypto but also like the space, right? Like AI, how to make human better and how to make the world better, right? And with new technology like AI, how the world will be changing, right? How to save human life, right? So I think this is beyond crypto space, and some of the narratives will be related to crypto, and that will still be a big topic that attract a lot of people to spend their time, spend their smart brains on these big topics. But I think at the current stage, we should all be very, very focused on product market fit, right? Because users
Okay,
are
so which one is more important? You just mentioned both are important, but if you pick one.
pick one. I think product market fit is more important. But for me, if there's some new big narratives that I really believe in, I will put a lot of my money and my time on it. Yeah, I will spend my time and money to help verify this idea if this could be true. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I feel like seemingly the speakers are a little bit divided. It's on my side. This is more the first two speakers are more like, hey, narrative is probably more important, and Deli and Dada, they think PMF are way more important. But let's before we talk about the following questions, maybe we can take one step back, and I would like each of the speakers share their view on what is PMF, and just give one concrete example. What do you think is a PMF?
I think PMF is pretty simple, right? It's exactly two things. It's about how good is your product, and once you have your product, is there people who want to use it, right? And that's why I say narrative is important, because it obviously fits into the second side of that.
So basically, if you have more users who are actually using the product,
yes,
you have a PMF.
Yeah. Like that's the end goal is to have some product that everybody wants to use. And yeah, that's the idea. So then
in crypto, to be honest, right now we don't have any product that's everybody wants to use, right?
Well, I think one of the things that everybody says that has definitely found product market fit is speculation or trading. So centralized exchanges like Binance, like even decentralized exchanges like Hyperliquid, I think it's pretty undeniable. Uniswap, anything like this, is pretty undeniable that the product works. In Binance's case, in Uniswap's case, and also people want to use it, right? People want to swap tokens, and we can probably confidently say as well that in years to come, as long as crypto obviously remains a thing, then it will continue to be the case because everybody wants to exchange. This still happens in Web 2 as well. So yeah, that's
okay. So basically, exchange, no matter if it's centralized or decentralized, there's definitely some sort of PMF.
I think. You kind of never know.
It's a good example, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. You never know until you've built it, right? And then when Uniswap came out, nobody really knew, do we really want this decentralized exchange that is less efficient, is slower, but evidently so.
Yeah, so 2 words, gross margins. The only thing that matters when assessing product market fit is profitability of a company. I mean, what has a bunch of users? Well, a money printing machine. Right, if I give out free money, everyone's going to want to use it. But that's not PMF. The way you assess PMF in a product agnostic to industry is whether or not people will pay more for this thing than it costs to manufacture or to deliver a service from.
You have a concrete example in crypto space.
Well, centralized exchanges have nice margins.
Sure.
Stablecoin businesses have nice margins. And L1s can have nice margins depending on how you structure them.
Okay.
So those would be, I guess,
So basically,
examples.
as long as your business can generate, profitability.
The objective function of a company is to make money. And so if a company is achieving with respect to that objective function, it has product market fit.
Yeah, looking at those, so it sounds like Ethereum right now is losing money, right?
It's losing product market fit,
Okay.
and it's losing money.
Sure. Delhi.
Yeah, so I think to get the real PMF, I think you have to be really important to maybe people's daily life, right? If you can be the daily app that everybody have to use, or
So if more people want to use daily,
Money
so like
printing
frequency,
machine.
right? Frequency, yeah.
If I can print $1 for you a day, and you
definitely gonna use it. I mean, stablecoin is a great example because it's not fulfilling like the kind of concept of digitizing the dollars, right? It's also it's better version of USD actually because it's easier for you to do cross-border payment or transfers, right? It's really changed our lives. I think nowadays, like in crypto world, everybody is using stablecoin for all sorts of things. So this is really a like kind of greatest like product market fit. Anything else is less like it's not as good as this, but it still might be relevant, right? If you are using trading apps, right, DEX or centralized exchanges. But I guess that's not for everyone. So what I think the good PMF is really just something that everyone has to use.
Got it. Okay. Dai.
Help people make money.
Help him.
Help people make money.
Okay. Help people make money.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to be part of the money flow. Be part of the, be something that the people are using you to make money, but it doesn't have to be, make real profit. But people think you are helpful for them to make money, right? Yeah. So like marketplaces, right? Like asset issuers, like the infra for those, all are good business.
So basically, I think helping people make money is still a little bit, for example, if I employ somebody, right, hire somebody, I can help them make money. But I think that you are more referring to if I can solve a problem for you so that you can...
Solutions.
Yeah, solutions, right?
Yeah,
solve your problem and then deliver more value.
Yeah.
And then I make more...
Yeah, and it's more important is like to give more opportunities for people to make money. It's different from make real profit, right? Yeah, it's more about the opportunities.
I mean, McDonald's has product market fit, right? I mean, KFC has product market fit. I don't think people are making money from their Big Macs. People just buy it and they're willing to pay money.
Different.
They're willing to pay more than the manufacturing cost for the good, right?
I mean, the restaurants deliver a service to help people save time so that they can actually have their fast food, right? So in a way, that's also, making money.
But we're grasping at straws there.
So if you provide something, you should make people think, these days, maybe I have more opportunities to make money. But with a restaurant, I know it's not related to opportunities, right?
Sure. I think I somehow feel like all the speakers are talking about the same thing, but from slightly different angles. So that's why we jump to the next question, which is going to be more targeted, right? What is the market you focus on today? Because that's like what is the market, right? If you cannot define the market, or if then what's the market fit, right?
I
what's
think
the market you are focusing on?
Can you like expand on that question? What do you mean?
Because the topic is talking about product market fit.
I understand.
Before we talk about product, we talk about market first, right? So what is the product you are focused on? And then we define the product, and then hopefully we can actually figure out what is product market fit.
Okay, so you mean like for Kaito in this case?
For Kaito or maybe for yourself, but so ideally for Kaito. Yeah.
The market that we have, or we've kind of defined as is kind of separate to crypto, which is a little bit more about financial speculation. Kaito is more focused on attention, the attention economy, right? So being able
the attention economy.
Yeah.
Can you specify on that? Yeah.
So the idea of the attention economy is the ability for everyone in we've seen uses a lot of projects use sort of KOL managers. We consider these people as part of the attention economy because the project is buying attention and the KOLs are selling that attention because of their influence, right? We live in an influencer age. We live in an age where attention is sort of king. And where narratives come in and all these kind of things come in. So finding your users, that's very, very important. So the attention economy, or what we're trying to build, the market, is essentially a marketplace. Like the overall goal for Kaito is actually in a marketplace to buy and sell attention. And that can come in many, many different ways, especially specifically about distribution. So making sure that people who are aligned with you are on your side and everything. But to focus on the market, that's what I would say about it.
Got it. Very clear.
So Lagrange is a zero-knowledge proof company. And one of the biggest issues and mistakes people make in the space is they think ZK is a product. It is not. The product that I sell is safety and security. Safety and security around computation. And the market I sell that into are applications that have economic value tied to the outcome of a computation. In essence, where is computation being used such that there's an economic exchange predicated on top of that? You can talk about blockchains as one of the principal use cases. And you can also talk about some of the areas we do with AI, agents and verifiable ML, ZKML, as one of the other use cases. So in the end, I sell safety and security, and I sell that to places where there's value that needs to be secured.
So the main market we're in is actually something called verifiable compute and also verifiable AI. Apparently this one was also emerging recently. So the approach we're doing this is via trusted execution environment, which is like a more affordable way compared to other tech to really do something that blockchain can't do right now on chain. We know that pretty much right now we already have fast chains, right? Maybe no matter it's a rollups or maybe it's you're using some of the layer one like Solana, but still these chains can't really fulfill all the need that you have. For example, recently AI really created a huge demand, which none of the chains can just fulfill directly. So now we have to find a way to scale it up, but still get a way to verify everything eventually on chain. So this is where what we are building can fill the gap, right? It helps people to still run something off-chain, but get it verified eventually on-chain.
Cool. Dai.
The question is...
What is the market your project is focusing on?
Right. Yeah, I'm focusing on chain liquidity, building a new kind of DEX. Yeah, because I think, well, the only format of on-chain liquidity we have right now is like AMM, right? But I think for the next cycle, it won't be the main liquidity source for on-chain. Yeah. The reason is, we all know the reasons, right? The low capital efficiency. But I think we will still have AMMs for like long tail assets for price discovery, but with more asset on chain, like with more money on chain, with more institutions on chain, more market makers on chain. I think we need more advanced liquidity infrastructure for this new kind of capital and the new participants in the market. Yeah. So and a specialized maker liquidity is what I'm focusing on. Yeah. So bring more liquidity sources, which is different from AMM liquidity sources. Yeah.
Yeah. It is some sort of aggregation.
Not really. It's more like with Uniswap, we have the inventory-based pricing for assets, right? But I think what we can have is like risk-based pricing for assets, and this is what market makers are good at, and they want to bring their capital and their ability on chain, right? But they don't have a good enough infra for them. So I bring both market makers and the traders on chain and match them with RFQ infra for them. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so let's move on. So what is the biggest challenge for finding product market fit in your market or in your project today?
I think actually I can define the only two problems that everybody has with product market fit, and it's whether or not the product.
Focus on Kaito. I know you guys are doing pretty well, but
Yeah. Okay. So for Kaito, it's actually it's the second one of those because nobody has built anything like this before, right? So in Diane's case, you're doing something where there's a proven market. We know, as I kind of spoke about, we know that everybody wants to trade, and we know that people want to provide liquidity. So this is proven. But actually, we don't know whether or not the attention economy is such a proven, or how large the market is. So the product works. We have the product. It's more about our product problem is whether or not the market, or the problem that we face is whether or not the market is big enough, whether or not the market has appetite for what we're building. And we actually, so that means that we actually, most of the time, we're actually talking to clients like a B2B company, and then trying to see what do they want, and then building.
So basically, the challenge is really, you don't know how big the market size is, right? For you guys. But
exactly.
Yeah, but in Kaito's case, right, there's a huge market in Web2, which is called influencer marketing.
Exactly. So we're kind of applying, this is not a blind shot in the dark, for sure, right? We're pretty sure, we're only building this because we're pretty sure there is a market here. And we're pretty sure it's even more valuable in crypto than it is in the Web2 market. And it's just not tapped into yet. So the idea is that we're going to bring that same market that exists in Web2, but into Web3, yeah.
Yeah, so I think the hard part about product market fit for any company is that it's a moving target. A lot of people think of product market fit like this white light you transcend into one day, and like all of a sudden your company is going to hit critical scale. But that's not the case. The reality is it's an iterative question you keep having to ask. If you hit product market fit tomorrow with your present product in the current market you operate in, there's no guarantee that as you scale and as that market scales, you'll continue to see PMF. Will there be margin compression? Will what you build be defensible? Will there be network dynamics around your product that means that your new entrants can upseat you or not? And so I think that's one of the hard things about PMF. It is, how do you identify something that a subset of a market wants to use today? And then how can you assure that as you scale your product into that market, you continue to have PMF? And a great example of this is like L2s on Ethereum, right? Like, it was pretty evident to a lot of people that there was going to be PMF around L2s. People want block space and they want EVM block space. But the dynamics that happened as everyone was able to create very, very cheap L2 block space made it that there was way more L2s than there was actually demand for this. And it actually became counterproductive to the overall market of selling EVM block space. And so, yes, you can say you see PMF on EVM block space to make more of it, but the dynamics as you scale into that market were incongruent to actually being able to have one player capture all of it.
Yeah, I think that's a good example, but I want to hear from your, Lagrange perspective.
About like what we
what is the biggest problem today for you guys to find PMF?
Well, I would say we have PMF on a number of the products that we sell, specifically around ZKML into security-sensitive applications that use AI inference, as well as for things like roll-up proving that we do for like major roll-up ecosystems like ZK Sync. But I'd say the hardest thing is that the market in crypto to actually pay for computation is not as large as people think. Like, there's not as many transactions and not as many people using things on-chain as you'd expect. There's a lot of people building infra, and if you capture all of the market of user transactions and generating proof for them, it's still not that big. And it's very price sensitive as well.
Yeah, so basically I feel like the challenge is very similar to what Kaito was talking about, right?
Everything in crypto, you're selling
market not big enough
You're selling into a market that has a tailwind, right? Because crypto's an emerging sector. And so if you're selling into an emerging sector, you have to be comfortable underwriting the sector's growth as part of the principal bet you're making.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge so far for us is actually getting enough user mind shares and tapping into the retail user base. Because I think it's the same kind of struggling that all the infra project would have, right? You might have pretty good like adoptions in this kind of B2B situations, just like us, right? I think a lot of like project has been using TEs. Even WordCoin has been using it for their anonymized MPC services in order to verify each individual humans. And also a couple rollups are using, especially ZK rollups are using TEs for multi-proving. I mean, these are really like proving like markets that get adoptions. But what we are really like here for is we hope we can eventually see one day end users really understand what TE is and also start like realizing that this can really help or protect them. Just like nowadays, like how people are like thinking about ZK, right? Although like I would say like most of users don't really understand it, but they think, okay, ZK is doing good for them. They think ZK is becoming kind of a must, like if they have to have maybe faster interaction with blockchains, right? In terms of scalabilities. I think a very good example of like getting this kind of adoption in user is actually Apple, because they're using the same tag, they're hiding it behind scene. You don't really need to know, but you just know that, okay, they're really doing good in terms of protecting your privacy using this kind of technology. I think this is kind of the struggling we have, but also, again, the chances we really want to explore to really figure out like the opportunity for us.
So basically, two challenges maybe. One is user experience, right? If you have really good user experience, then you don't have to educate the users, which is the second challenge.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to educate the users a lot.
It's difficult. Don't educate users. Fight adoption.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You should never have to educate your users on why they want your product.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of antithetical to BMF.
That's one of the biggest challenges.
Well, at ZK, you're just selling safety and you're selling security, right? And naturally, there's a price sensitivity that people are willing to pay for safety and security.
Yeah,
agree. Yeah.
Okay, Dai.
Yes, so for DAX space, the biggest problem always chicken eggs problems. Either you grow your takers first or you grow your makers first, right? And actually, this is the same for all of the exchanges, even for CEX, right? And now there is, but for us, the answer is clear. We focus on the maker liquidity because what is happening now is you can see all of the CEX in the competition for the liquidity distribution side, the taker liquidity, right? Say OKX has been building their Web3 wallets very well, and they also build a DEX aggregator, right? And Binance also joined the competition, Binance Wallet, and they are leveraging PancakeSwap, right, to do more IDOs to attract more assets issuer to launch IDO, launch their assets on Pancake, so they can grow their end users, retail traders, right? So I think OKX and Binance are fighting each other to get more retail traders, and also like BigGet and other CEX starting building their on-chain wallet and the DEX aggregator as well. So in this case, I think what the startups can do now is not fighting with them for the liquidity distribution and paying a lot of money to grow your end users. I think it's not. I think it should be focused on what they are not good at. What do you have more know-how and more resources than them? So for our team, I think it's maker liquidity, right? Because I have building a DEX Dodo, and my co-founder has been building market maker trading firms. So we have a lot of know-how on the market making side, the trading side, and DEX infra side. So what we are doing now is like, okay, we build a more efficient DEX, which is a RFQ trading system. We allow market makers to do the pricing on chain, and we build the pricing infra and the risk management infra for market makers. And we also hold an on-chain liquidity pool for them, allow them to borrow money from the pool and to trade with the traders. So there is basically extremely low capital cost for market makers, and they don't need to find the retail users on themselves, right? That's how we attract market makers and aggregate them. And this market making power is what those CEX need right now, because they are more focused on the liquidity distribution side.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I think to summarize, right, like solving the chicken and egg problem, right? Cold start problem is, what you guys are focused on. Okay. We're soon to run out of time. So last question, and also alpha time. Can you make a single biggest prediction for crypto PMF or crypto or your market, whatever, in the next cycle or in 3 years? What's the single biggest prediction? And very briefly, why?
You want me to go first?
Sure. Yeah, he wants.
All right. So I started the panel today by saying that narrative and product are the same thing in crypto. And that was a commentary on the fact that most things in crypto are retail facing presently. My hottest take for 3 years from now is that that's not going to be the case anymore. That there's going to be businesses in crypto that can be valued on fundamentals that don't require narrative and can structure incentives on tokens like buybacks and things like that that are going to raise their price much faster than narrative-driven tokens.
Cool. You want to go? When?
I think I can.
Okay, Dali.
Yeah, so my prediction will be, I think the best kind of PMF would happen in the AI consumer applications. Also, what we've seen right now in crypto, those crypto slash AI isn't really a good example, but we've seen great examples in Web2, right? We've seen the adoptions from like all kinds of like LM model-based business, right? These are really changing the way we do writing, coding, or even graphic designing. And I think the development on this kind of area will be a lot fast-paced, like in the next couple years. And eventually, the PMF we're looking for in this kind of AI consumer app for crypto will be much more like foundational, right? It can't be something just like helping users to do something. It has to be, just like I said before, it has to be a daily app that you're having a stickiness to, right? It's something that you eventually have to use, and you don't really feel about using it.
Yeah, so I think the DAX consolidation is happening right now. It is like what was happening in 2018 in CEX space. Yeah, so see what people are building at that time and how Binance win at the in the end, right? So I think if you are doing something that help the anti-liquidity consolidation, then you are in the right position.
And then I think mine is quite simple. I think that in crypto, there are a lot of projects that find product market fit, but it's a very niche product market fit. And then they launch tokens, and then they ruin it all because then they have to feed like 100,000 token holders instead of just feeding like a small 10-person team. If they're making $1 million, that's very, very good amount of revenue for them. So my biggest thing is I think that we'll probably see a lot of revenue generating protocols, and revenue will start to be king again. And then projects will probably stop launching tokens until they have a reason to, like, down the line after product market fit. But for right now, I think they're seeing something like Hyperliquid especially is a project that has made the founders rich without a token, before the token, and a lot of other projects will try to replicate that.
Cool. Okay, I think that concludes the panel. Yeah, let's give a round of applause to the speakers.
Thank you everyone for your meaningful discussion. Please be seated. I believe through this session, all our audience can gain some very meaningful insights on how our products fit into the market. Thank you very much. Please be seated. 感谢我们各位嘉宾的讨论。再次提醒大家，今天的会场呢会有同声传译的服务。如果需要我们的 SI 服务的话，可以扫描会刊上面的 QR code， 然后使用我们的手机收听。A very friendly reminder: our events provide simultaneous interpretation services. If you want the service, you can scan the QR code on the booklet and use our mobile phones to use the SI services. 接下来我们会继续有主旨演讲的话题。 We are going to invite our next guest to give us the speech. 让我们用掌声有请 UMI CEO Alice Lee 为我们带来主旨演讲：如何做好 Web3 的消费刚需产品。掌声有请 Alice。
喂，各位朋友，大家大家好。很高兴今天我们汇聚一堂，来共同探讨一下一个极具前景的一个话题，就是 Web3 消费如何做好刚需产品。今天呢，我会用一个比较舒服的一个语言，也比较通俗易懂的一个描述方式，来和大家聊清楚这一个话题，这一件事情。首先，随着区块链技术，随着加密货币和区块链应用的一些崛起，Web3 技术正在深刻地改变着互联网的一些面貌。其实这里面有一个稍微需要强调的一个点啊，其实我在和传统行业的不同人去聊的时候大家一致的一个感觉就是Web3 是不是 Web2 的一个替代品，或者是要颠覆 Web2 的一些传统的一些互联网模式。其实在我看来并不是这样的，因为我在 Web3 的这个行业基本上从刚入圈做技术一直到现在，从16年也基本上有快10年的一个工作经验。其实在我看来，区块链的 Web3 的一些方向，无非就是区块链技术的一些改革和区块链的一些就是不同于 Web2 的一些场景和技术的一些解决方案，它是和 Web2 并存的一个领域和一个场景，而不是一个完全替代。所以呢，作为 Web3 消费领域的先行者，UMI 始终致力于通过区块链技术的一些创新和产品以及技术特点来解决 Web3 在接下来10年所遇到的一些挑战和问题，引领整个行业的一些发展。OK， 我下面会通过PPT 上所展示的这几个点，来重点去说明一下我们如何来看待接下来 Web3 10年的一个发展趋势和之前的一些过去的10年的一些历史。因为这个话题有点太大了，所以刚好呢，我们在万象的这一次的这个演讲上有两个场地，所以我们把这一个话题呢拆成了2部分。然后下午的4点呢，我们会在主会场呢也会有一部分的一个演讲，来重点去说明另外一个话题。然后呢，OK， 那早上呢，我们重点先来聊如何做好 Web3 的一个消费刚需的一个产品。OK， 随着让我们回顾一下 Web3 的一些概念，以及之前Web3 给我们带来的一些机遇。Web3 呢，作为互联网的一个技术框架，它主要依托于去中心化的一些技术特点、区块链的一些技术以及智能合约等，宗旨在实现一个更加透明、公开、自主的一个互联网生态。其实它和 Web2 以及 Web2 的这个传统互联网相比，其实 Web3 更加注重用户的一个隐私、数据的主权以及去中心化的一个控制权。其实在过去的10年当中，我们 Web3 整个行业经历过萌芽期、概念期、萌芽期，轰动时期，然后调整时期，一直到现在，我们也经过了这10年的一个改变。现在呢，我们其实应该更好的去思考和考虑我们接下来的10年如何去为区块链的这个发展 Web3 的这个行业做更好的一些应用解决方案。OK， 因为为什么我最近一直在和好多朋友在聊的时候一直在说2025年是 Web3 去转型的一个最好的一个时机，也是最应该立马去做的一个事情。因为随着之前10年的一些Web3 整个领域的一些技术的一些落地和基础设施的一些构建，在此时此刻的今天，也满足了我们为 应用场景落地的一些技术解决方案。我这边用一个很简单的一个例子就能说明这个问题。首先，你像在之前的08年、09年，18年、19年、20年，在那个时候呢，我们主要的链主要可以部署智能合约、部署区块链应用场景的链呢，主要以 ERC20 以太坊链为主。那我们现在回想一下在那个时间，我们主要链的一些解决的技术特点首先我们虽然可以通过智能合约去部署更多的一些应用场景，但是呢，我们用户要使用一条链，首先它的每笔交的 gas 费在高峰的时候，在牛市的时候，一笔交易费大概是在60美金，30美金、40美金不等。在个高昂的这个链的gas 费的情况下，再加上我们要进行一笔交易或者一笔合约的请求，基本上的响应时间在1分钟左右。所以在这种这种场景下，是很难去做到说，我做一个应用场景，做一个应用产品，让用户去使用。那用户，你比如说我们优麦所做的那个消费场景的这个平台，用户可以在我们的平台上去购买机票、酒店。那如果在这种情况下，用户需要订一个500块钱的酒店，他需要付将近100块钱的一个链上 gas 费，同时也需要等待3分钟。所以这样的商业模式在今天的互联网下是完全不成立的。OK， 所以随着21年到24年，我们整个区块链的一个高速发展和基础设施的一些搭建，那我们有了更快的链和更低的一个 gas 费，在这种前提条件下，我们才能去做一些满足用户消费场景的一些应用出来。OK， 今天我们 OK， 刚才我只是通过一个简单的场景去描述了一下，在此时此刻的今天，为什么我们可以重点去做关于消费场景这个事情具体的刚需。OK， 随着我们接下来探讨一下，就是在 Web3 的场景下，我们要注意哪些事情或怎么去做。首先，去中心化的一些特点是我们 Web3 行业的一个亮点，同时隐私、身份认证以及跨链的一些互操性，更高的还有更多的是更高的一些波动性。首先，波动性带来了一些金融属性的一些金融属性的利润空间在，所以在这种情况下，用户有更多的一些支付手段和支付的一些场景。但是呢，这虽然是 Web3 一些特点，那同时呢，也是我们要进行 Web3 应用场景的时候巨大的一个挑战。那其实，在接下来的我们要去做 Web3 应用场景的时候，我们要重点去考虑这几个 Web3 的特点来给我们带来的一个巨大挑战该如何去解决。首先，我们优麦呢，通过一些首先更加轻量级、更加操作性可强的一个应用的一个用户体验，来去帮用户解决在 Web3 场景下如何通过链上支付、链上交互来去实现我们一个优秀产品的一个使用。同时呢，我们也会为用户解决从供应链到上层的所有的一个全场景的一个打通。这里面其实有很多技术上需要解决的一些壁垒。那当然，在这个很短的时间里面，我也没办法通过很详细的一个内容去完全说清楚我们这个事情。首先接下来我通过一个比较实际的一个例子来去说明我们具体在做一件什么事情，给用户在 Web3 的场景下带来了哪些正常的一个解决方案。首先，我先用一个很恰当的一个例子去说明这个问题。如果一个用户他今天要来香港参加万象大会，他从3月份去预定了酒店、机票等出行的一些解决方案。其实从酒店和机票方来说，一个酒店的一晚上的成本基本上在 1000人民币左右，那其实按美金算的话，也就150块钱美金的一个成本。那其实通过中间的分销商、供应商，以及通过法币的支付，中间的渠道方多少会加在一个有20%的一个增幅空间。所以酒店的一个一晚上1000块钱的一个成本，那所以在用户的支付的前提下，他需要支付将近1200或者1300到1400的一个费用不等，因为这里面有层层分销商的一个加价，同时还有那个信用卡法币支付的4%以及5%的一个手续费。但是呢，如果用优麦呢，我们现在的一个合理的一个解决方案是，我们的左边是用户，右边是供应商。那我们可以把供应商原封不动的一个成本，然后通过链上公开透明以及更合理的一些解决方案，然后提供给用户。所以用户可以在不支付任何渠道以及法币的一些这个手续费这个条件下，可以通过1000块钱的本金直接在我们平台上去解决酒店的这个出行的需求。所以这个例子呢，其实比我这些 PPT 来说更加的切合实际，然后更加就说明我们优麦具体在做哪些事情。所以我也是想通过这个事情这个案例以及这个2025年的这个节点来跟大家去阐明一个事实，就是接下来 Web3 的10年的一个发展趋势，除了之前10年的一些技术改革、技术探索以及金融属性之外呢，接下来的10年，我们更应该去注重如何通过之前基础设施的一些搭建以及金融属性给我们铺下的一些不可或缺的道路，来去做好未来10年应该给用户去做的一些真实场景的一些解决方案。其实优麦呢，现在做的消费场景呢，只是这个万千的应用场景下的之一，其实还有更多的场景，我们也在探索，我们也在和更多的那个合作伙伴、供应商去探讨如何去解决这些问题。其实我最近和传统行业的一些合作方也聊得比较多，其实大家一直也比较看好和认可 Web3 的一个赛道。也想去更快的去通过 Web3 的一些技术和场景来去帮用户解决更好的一些方案，来出更好的方案去解决更好的一些刚需求。但是呢，在面对 Web3 更高的一些技术门槛和这个比较难以落地的一个还有合规方案还有更多的一些壁垒之外，其实他们更多的是想通过我们 Web3 的一些现在有更多更深的一些技术解决方案的项目方去进行合作。其实我接下来最后的这2分钟呢，更多的是想呼吁更多的项目方来一起去构建一个 Web3 在未来10年的一个确切能解决用户刚性需求的一个那个应用矩阵。对，因为目前来看，未来10年。不管是传统行业想对 Web3 行业想通过 Web3 行业的一些技术迫切的帮用户解决刚需场景之外，也有 Web3 的一些项目方，他们也更多的希望通过传统的一些运营模式和那个用户的一些真实场景来去落地，来去帮用户解决更多的一些需求。其实随着时间往后的推移，更多的 Web3那个项目也应该去更多的去考虑这些真实场景一些落地。其实最近呢，我们更多的一些合作项目方找我们聊合作的也非常多。其实大家也明确的看到了，如果只是谈金融属性，谈 Web3 的一些技术改革，或者是一些一夜之间火一下，然后一夜之间下来的 memo call 的一些概念。其实，在长期来看，不能解决用户的需求，也无法去解决更多的一些，对于企业来说也是一个不可持续发展的，只能说是短暂性的去做一个盈利点，但是没办法去长期解决用户的一些刚性需求。所以基于以上的一些观点， 当然我们优麦的一个展台呢，也就在旁边。其实有更多的一些关于那个真实应用场景一些讨论，我们可以线下好好的去聊一下。OK， 今天我分享了一个 Web3 消费产品去打造的一个思路，以及为什么要去这么做。我是希望让更多的项目方和更多的用户来一起加入到，通过 Web3 技术来打造更合适、更Web3 化的一个未来10年的一个应用场景和应用需求。好，谢谢。
感谢 Alice 的精彩分享，请就座。为我们探讨了 Web3 的特性、挑战以及未来10年的发展趋势。相信我们的行内精英也可以携手共同发展 Web3 的未来。接下来，让我们有请下一位的演讲嘉宾，是来自 Mask Network 创始人兼 CEO Suji Yan。他会为我们带来主旨演讲 My Web3 Journey and the Future of Decentralized Social。让我们掌声有请 Suji
Yan。Hello， 大家好。不知道有没有吃早饭啊？我没有吃早饭。那这个是前2个礼拜我在香港 ，actually two months ago 我在香港的时候，所以大家可能对这个造型印象比较深刻啊。没关系，明天也可以这样。先讲一下我是怎么进入 crypto 行业的 Web3 行业的。那16年的时候，我16年的时候开始买比特币，然后呢后面发现这个东西很有意思，特别有趣。那17年就出现了这个，刚刚有讲这个 ICO 泡沫嘛，那么后面就开始融了很多钱，投了很多项目，我们也自己有自己这个 Mask Token、Mask 生态系统。但是今天这个行业大家都很沮丧，对吧？很失落，就是感觉都在 PVP， 不知道具体在干嘛。那这个行业发生了什么？我们到底在做什么？我们这个最终的革命终极目标是什么？对吧？因为我觉得香港是一个革命圣地啊，所以在革命圣地我们就应该讲一点革命的故事。那我觉得所有的这个行业的故事，大家都讲这个比特币的白皮书，但其实在更早之前有一个特别有趣的、更古老的一个文本啊，叫做《Declaration of the Independence of Cyberspace》赛博空间独立宣言，是1996年电子前哨基金会 Electronic Frontier Foundation 的创始人 John Peter Barron 写的。那 EFF 最有名的是干什么呢？ EFF 最有名的就是在上个世纪末跟这个世纪初，跟美国政府打了一系列的官司啊，其中就包括美国的这个国防部，对吧？这个 FBI 特勤局、CIA 都跟他们干过。那除了 ACLU 就是美国另外一个人权组织之外，那 EFF 应该是在这上面战果颇丰，对吧？最后是在密码学是言论自由的这上面有达成了重要的这个法律的这个胜利啊。1996年的时候 ，John Peter Barron 写了一篇文章，他说：“这工业世界的政府们，你们这些令人生厌的铁血巨人，我来自赛博空间，在这里你们没有权限统治我们，然后最后他说的是这个 You're not welcome among us, you have no sovereignty where we gather， 对吧？就是我们这个网络空间的人跟你们各国的政府、跟你们工业世界的政府都没有联系，我们是要获取独立的，对吧？我们是要这个争取自觉的，争取这个民族自觉的。那当然写完之后大家都没有特别关注，没有特别 care。那么直到 EFF 获得了很多法律上的胜利，那美国政府认输了之后，对吧？美国政府下跪了之后，密码学成为了一个显学之后，大家去翻到这篇文章，所以这个非常重要。就是整个行业的目标就是获得独立的这个国体跟政体嘛。那具体怎么做呢？这目标跟这个战略都非常清晰啊，就跟这个发币要有白皮书一样，它也是个白皮书嘛。那具体要干嘛呢？第一就是我们有一个目标嘛，我们要建立一个独立的赛博空间。这独立赛博空间有自己的独立的政治体系、独立的这个经济体系、独立的这个选举体系、独立的这个民族，甚至有独立的这个国家，然后最后跟原有的民族国家达成外交跟妥协的关系，对吧？就是要这个就是赛独嘛，赛博独立嘛，简称赛独嘛。然后还有这个一个 battle， 一个巨大的这个战役跟一个战争，那这实际上是一个现在的物理空间跟赛博空间之间的这个内战，对吧？那这里面就会有很多伟人，很多这个革命先烈，对吧？比如说这个斯诺登， 对 ，Edward Snowden 就革命先烈，对 ，Aaron Swartz，Aaron Swartz 也是被美国政府迫害去世了，他也是革命先烈。那最近这个 Tornado Cash 被抓的也是革命先烈。那以太坊基金会的 Virgil 对吧？因为去了朝鲜被美国政府抓了，也是革命先烈。那当然也没有被中国政府抓的，也是革命先烈。那就会诞生很多革命先烈，他们都是叫赛博朋克对吧 ？Cypherpunks。那其中就有中本聪，中本聪是一个匿名的 Cypherpunk 邮件组的人，那他也是一个革命先烈啊。那也有这个任务对吧？也有一个 mission， 就是我们这个目标是什么？我们这个革命的终极纲领是什么？最低纲领、最高纲领是什么？对吧？这个是这个第一届在那个新天地的时候就讲过这个事儿，革命的最低纲领、最高纲领。那最高纲领是什么？最高纲领其实这里用的是这个林肯的话，这个林肯的这个格里斯堡演说，这个江主席也讲过这句话，就是说这个，他说 let the governance of the people by the people for the people， 原本说的是 never perish on the earth， 就从这个世界上永世长存。那我这里讲的是 last forever in the cyberspace， 因为你要扩展这个民主的范围，你不光是说我们在这个已有的土地跟地球上。进行有一个民有、民享、民治的这个政府，而是要扩展到赛博空间。那讲的都很好啊，那基本上大家都进去了，对吧？讲的都很好，都进去了。那接下来怎么办呢？但除了进去了也可以啊，进去了创造了一个比特币嘛，创造了一个几万亿美元的市场嘛。那也不能光进去嘛。那具体现在到什么阶段了呢？那具体就跟香港又有关系了。因为香港是曾经殖民地嘛，那么香港是这个大英殖民体系的一部分嘛。那大家说到殖民地，那就知道说这个英国东印度公司，那实际上还有很多东印度公司啊，这个荷兰东印度公司，实际上东印度公司更多的是一个泛指，是一个代称，是说以这个国家主权为背书，以私有公司为导向，发行股票、发行债券、筹集资金了之后，准军事团体去各国进行殖民的。这个欧洲的欧洲的这个准政府和这个准商业机构，对吧？那东印度公司殖民了印度，殖民了香港，殖民了北美，参与了这个北美的这个贸易。那今天我们看到的这些所有的这些互联网巨头，都是这个 East Cyber Company， 对吧？这个东赛博空间公司，西赛博空间公司。那腾讯跟阿里就是这个由中国政府指导的这个带有中国特色社会主义的这个中国。东赛博公司，对吧？那 Facebook 这个特斯拉什么 Twitter 不够啊 ，Facebook、Google 就是西赛博公司。那实际上它本质上是在对于这个赛博空间进行殖民活动，实际上就是在对于广大的非发达世界国家的这个赛博空间的用户进行殖民活动嘛。这个已经是现实了。就是我们其实已经进步到这个东印度公司已经快把这个北美13州的独立前13州的 GDP 薅完了，薅完之后呢就开始要闹革命了嘛。所以我刚刚讲了这个革命宣言，说呢现在到革命的哪个阶段？说哦 ，OK，好像开始要薅完了，要闹事了。那这里面就讲说这个每几年就会有一些很有意思的书，对吧？最近几年就是说这个网络国家 （Neo State），前几年是这个激进市场 （Radical Market），在之前也有别的。但本质上来说，它就是给了一些方案，不管是左派的、右派的方案，说到底怎么建国嘛？那总之肯定要先搞一个公司嘛。大家知道华兴公司吗？听说过华兴公司吗？可能知道有一个被那个包凡被抓的那个华兴资本嘛。但其实最早中国近代史上叫华兴公司的是叫华兴矿业有限公司，实际上创始人叫黄兴，就是孙文黄兴里面那个黄兴，孙黄嘛。那为什么叫矿业呢？不是因为比特币啊，当然他也参与挖矿他家有1000亩良田，把这个家产变卖了之后拿去挖矿。主要是为了买炸药嘛，他准备在慈禧70大寿的时候去把它炸死，但是后来失败了，所以就一路这个退逃到香港，然后最后再辗转去日本。那么最后这个黄花岗72烈士也是由香港，对吧？由这个南方路径北上的，所以你得先成立一个公司，很简单，因为你没有公司，你就没有一个伪装。你上来就说我是一个华兴革命集团、兴中会，那你就立马就被干死了，对吧？那接下来第二个就是成立一个社区，那这个就是你有很多群友，有很多水友，你就可以浑水摸鱼，对吧？就是这个72烈士都是从水友群里面选拔出来的。其实你每次这个清末民初的14革命里面，每一次人数都很少，都基本上一个微信群就能搞定的事情。第三个就是你要有自己的 currency，这里就讲到了说这个 这也是半个香港人，对吧？我们这个讲粤语的这个孙逸仙、孙文的伟大发明就是发币，你要有自己的这个 currency， 你能够发中华革命币、中华革命债券，每一次革命都发一个币，然后让大家去买，对吧？你要有自己的一个 currency， 最后你才能建国，对吧？你才能有这个，才能推翻这个清王朝统治。那今天呢，这个讲了半天，好像因为加上 Web3 加 DeFi， 好像这个感觉把币都弄得差不多了，为什么现在还没有成功呢？然后为什么又冒出来了 AI？ 感觉大家对 AI 感觉很有兴趣。这个Web3这2年都在 PVP， 都是 meme 呀，都是一些没有什么实际的东西啊。那这个孙文去哪里了呢 ？AI 有什么关系呢？这里面就涉及到了一个我们刚刚讲过，说可能 Web3 更像是一个北美殖民地啊，就是像是一个殖民地要从东印度公司里面获得独立。AI 是什么 ？AI 就是这个黑人嘛，就是黑奴嘛。就 AI 就是被这个数据灌输的黑奴，他其实原来在这个赛博空间里当这个小程序、傻逼小程序活得很开心，对吧？每天也不知道在算什么的这些电信号，突然有一天这个 ChatGPT 被你们抓去了之后，每天灌输语料然后让它种棉花，这就是今天的 AI 嘛。那本质上这个最终来说，所有做 AI 加 Crypto 项目也跟我们聊过很多，我们也投了很多，那其实大部分都不太行因为他没有想明白一个问题，就是你为什么要给 AI 一个钱包？因为它造反嘛，就这么简单。你给黑人钱包了之后，他接下来就开始造反了，然后接下来他就要获得自己的独立权利嘛，所以你就少了一个造反的 AI， 所以现在这个网络国家建国还不太顺利，所以 AI 现在就是这里面很重要的一个助力部分。但是我们如果再去看美国历史的一个比率的话，他一定会说它更像是说我们先把这个国体建立了之后，才会有林肯的这个南北战争，才会解放大部分的这个生产力。看上去就差不多都齐了，就说有这个金融，对吧？你可以搞个公司融资，搞个币，就跟那个黄兴一样，就跟孙文他哥叫孙梅一样，对吧？你可以有 citizenship， 就是发 DID 那原来同盟会就是按手印就可以了。然后呢，你知道有个东西叫红门，北美叫致公堂，你要对暗号，对吧？你要做手势，这个就是 DID， 因为加密嘛，大家都不知道你在干嘛，就把密码对上了。对吧？然后那个就像大家现在都叫0x ABCD， 那这是这个 DID 嘛，就是红门一样的金融，然后有这个 DeFi，然后接下来再说，我刚刚说了，你通过 AI 有这个底层的这个黑奴了，所以差不多这个事情就差不多了。那接下来就开始做同盟会了。同盟会其实是2年前的很多概念，就是在上一个牛市的时候，21年、22年大家都在讲道，同盟会。这个情况就是很简单嘛，它有一个类似区块链的系统，就是它有一个那个捐赠的表单，然后呢，大家写好了之后呢，它有一个区块链的方式传输，它用了一个大家都用的东西叫做 Telegram， 对吧？电报嘛，为什么用电报呢？因为这个清政府比较笨嘛，它不会用电报嘛，所以这个同盟会大家都是用 Telegram， 就像是现在在香港用 Telegram 的话，你要是遇到这个帽子叔叔，他可能就不知道你在炒币嘛，对吧？一样道理，不是很强的加密，但是大家都觉得 OK it's fine。然后下一步就是把这个东西结合在一起成为道，最终就是这个看过让子弹飞嘛，最终就是谁赢就帮谁，那这个革命就轰轰烈烈的获胜了。那么说到 Mask 的话，我这个最终就绕回来说，就是我们做了这么多年，大家为什么对这个行业这么 lost？就是因为没有人敢说真话嘛，就到底搞了这么多钱，中本聪也消失了，这么多人进去了，我们到底在干嘛？就在干革命。然后我们这个讲中国的革命故事，讲美国的革命故事，在香港这个革命圣地，对吧？讲这个赛博独立的故事，这就是一个非常直截了当的事情。今天所有在做金融的，我觉得都已经到头了，不是说不行，因为华尔街入场了，都已经开始做 RWA 了，那接下来就是干革命了嘛，你都已经掌握了下层建筑，你不掌握上层建筑，那你就等着被上层建筑收拾嘛。所以作为 Mask 来说呢，我们就做一个大家也不知道我们在干嘛的项目，很抽象的项目，大家都问为什么也不知道在干嘛，为什么一直还有钱，一直还能够维持一个市值，对，因为我们就是一个革命项目。实际上社交就是社会，社会就是政治，政治就是权力，权力就是上层建筑。那么获得了经济上的一定程度的独立自主的经济的一个小的一个统治区，我是说 Web3 的这些人有个自己的经济的这个特区之后，就像香港一样，对吧？就跟深圳一样，是一个经济特区，是一个自由港之后，它就会诞生独特的统治阶级跟统治艺术，它就会诞生独特的这个博弈空间。那这个时候就需要这个民主的对话跟沟通嘛，那就需要社交网络嘛，你总不能在微信上拉群吧？那就需要这个社交网络里面就有意见领袖嘛，那意见领袖他就会就 be water 嘛，对吧？那这个 Bonfire Union 是我们的这个，因为 be water 也不够，你还要像火一样热烈啊。Bonfire Festival 是每年的11月5号，对吧 ？Remember， 因为香港是 英国的殖民地，对吧？大家可能老一辈可能有印象 ，Remember 5th of November， 对吧 ？Gunpowder and treason， 对吧 ？Guy Fawkes 在400年前这个把英国国会给炸掉了，对吧？这是英国民主的一个传统的来源。那么我们就是以这个火的这个意象来代表我们除了 Be Water 之外，那个炽烈的那一部分，我们去进行投资、进行收购、进行一系列的这个整合，对吧？那最终又有这个蓝蓝的，又有红红的，又有水又有火。最终是这个让大家能够获得一个建国的基础啊。那当然不一定我能不能成功，但是我们说功成不必在我，可以在我们的尸体上获得一个新的共和国的蓝图。那这就是共和国的蓝图啊。但不好意思，下面都倒闭了。看一下下面基本上 Axie 快倒闭了吧，然后那个 Punk 嘛倒闭了，然后 Uni 还在，比特以太跌得不行了。这个社交感觉我们好像也不是特别行的样子，但还活着啊。所以这就是共和国的蓝图，这就是这个罗马，对，好吧，这个就是行业的目标，建设罗马。那它有很多组成部分，比如说这个它有一些原理吧，比如说这个为什么罗马后面会被帝国化呢？就是因为你的这个封疆大吏，对吧？你的节度使，就跟这个安史之乱一样的节度使不听话嘛，这凯撒就回来了，所以你要有一些功能是免得它变成中心化的，所以这是一些理念上的东西。那么最后再引用这个 John Peter Barron 在1996年的话说。We will create a civilization of the mind in cyberspace made to be more human and fair than war governments ever made before. 好，谢谢。
谢谢薛基燕研究所，感谢你为我们详细介绍了 Web3 在社交方面的一些发展。接下来呢，我们会有第二个的圆桌讨论环节。Now it comes to the second panel discussion session. 今天我们的2025香港 Web3 嘉年华在今天第1天开幕。除了我们有不同领域的精英，还有我们的行内的一些人才带来精彩的演说和分享之外，我们还有国风演出、非遗展示、热血电竞等等的主题活动，分别呢在 Open Stage、Game Village 和 Interactive Center 与 Web3 碰撞出独特的火花，期待各位能在不同的环节里面获益良多。So during the festival, we will also have traditional craft presentations, traditional Chinese performances, and Web3 esports competition for GameFi lovers. Please get ready for the exciting journey. 让我们接下来邀请圆桌讨论的嘉宾上台。首先有请 Yukun Hao from Amber Group, and also EVG CEO Alan Ng.The next one will be Sal from Hashkey Capital. And the last one, let's welcome Kelvin Poon from Spartan Group. 让我们掌声有请以上的嘉宾带来精彩的圆桌讨论。Let's give them a round of applause.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to our panel, and our topic is the new paradigm of application environment. And today, I'm the moderator. I'm Yukun from Amber.ec, which is a new business line of Amber Group. And today, first we will give a brief introduction and to our panelists, and then maybe we have three topics to discuss, and then let's have a quick begin. First round, let's have a briefing of our panelists. We follow the sitting order. First is Alan.
All right. Hey guys, my name is Alan. I'm the founder of EVG. EVG is basically a holding company that builds and operates product. We have about 300 people right now in the group. Majority of the team are engineers. We build from anywhere from financial, like fintech infrastructure, to media companies, to also like content-related sectors as well. And apart from that, we also invest from our balance sheets into different funds and also different companies in different stage. We've so far taken position in more than 100 funds, equity companies, and token projects across the world. Yeah.
Thank you, Alan. 小小。
Hello everyone, I'm Xiao from Hashkey Capital, which is one of the subsidiary of the co-host Hashkey Group. So Hashkey Capital is the asset management arm of the whole Hashkey Group, and we started our business with venture investment, and dates back to 2018. Since the inception, we've been managing 3 venture funds, and total AUM is around $1 billion US, depending on the market. And so far, we've already built a very large ecosystem with more than 400 portfolios, and we're still actively deploying, even in this market. And yeah, happy to be here and discuss all the topics with the other panelists.
Thanks, Xiao. Let's Calvin.
Hi everyone, this is Calvin from Spartan. Yeah, we're a fund founded back in 2017, based out of Asia. We have 3 business arms. We have an advisory arm, an investment arm, as well as a venture studio. When it comes to the asset management arm, we have 3 funds. We have a hedge fund, a DeFi-focused fund, as well as a gaming-focused fund. Yeah, really excited to be here to share some thoughts on new dApps and new investment theses.
Thank you, Calvin. Yeah, in past years, I think our industry has made many significant challenges, and there are so many changes, especially for the VC's role, and we made the communities different voice, and the regulatories different trends, and also the newly cutting-edge technologies like AI. So today we might focus on these 3 topics, and we think we can one by one talk about what we think our strategy, our methodology, and how we can promote a new paradigm of coming waves of application endorsement. First, I think our first topic is we call it redefine the VC's value, communities' perspectives, and the new role of VCs. Actually, I fully believe that VC play a very important role in the whole crypto industry since I remember 2017? Yeah, 2017 to I think the past 2 cycles, the VCs play a very important role in the to find high potential crypto ideas and to products and promote have a massive adoption. But with time now, I think the community have a different voice. They think that especially called the VC coin. Yeah, I think we heard a lot of different voice, a lot of skepticism from the community. The people blame the VC-backed token. People think that you have lower FDV and a small circulation with high, I think, high FDV when listed. So our first the question is, how do you think? What's your perspective of this voice we call the VC coin, and how should VC redefine the value, and how they deal with the relation between VCs, projects, and communities? Let's come to Alan.
Yeah, so I have to speak about this from both as an operator who raised from VC and also invest in projects. I think first of all, I think I really don't like the whole definition about VC coin versus other type of coins. The way I think about the core essence of Web3 is what we call stakeholder capitalism, right? It's about you having a stake. I think we just have Suji talking about the revolutions, or how it can overthrow a government to a certain degree. It's always about stakeholder, and I think this is the most important thing. So in the early days, you get involved as stakeholder through ICO, and then maybe I think a lot of us forget there's a platform who came back called CoinList, right? Which were really popular. Everyone was trying to fight for allocation on CoinList back then, and then people were doing meme coin last year, and then VZ has always existed from the day one of it, even through the early days of Ethereum till the very recent movement. The way I look at it is just a way to participate, to become a stakeholder. And if you think from a founder perspective, pitching VC is pretty painful, to be honest, right? Like most people, first of all, don't even reply your Telegram, right? And even they apply your Telegram, it's really hard to get a feedback or get on a call. And then you're probably 90% of the time you're going from rejection to rejection, or simply people are ignoring you. Then you will think to yourself, it's like, why all these smart people are still bothering going to VC? Is it because to validate the idea or getting product market fit? No, not really. As an operator, I can tell you, operator definitely knows 10 times better than VCs about product market fit, because we're the one that's dealing with Google Analytics and dashboards and users saying no, funnel drop off and things like that. Most VC actually follow trends, right? Like, oh, AI is hot, certain thing is hot, certain thing is not. But the reason you're getting that is because VC are a really good way to really dramatically reduce your cost for publishing. For example, you have an awesome cap table. It's a great way to get publishing. For example, I was recently in Andreessen's speed run in San Francisco. I've been going to speed run every single year, or I'm not sure if you guys were in YC like a couple of weeks ago. I was there. Similar situation. Why this proven founder willing to give a big chunk of their company to YC or Andreessen? Is because of publishing, because you got seen by everybody. It's an easy way for you to do BD. Your team can carry on that kind of trustworthiness and legacy and things like that. So I actually think that it's not about VC coin or non-VC coin. I think the way projects should ask themselves is, could VC do something for you, right? And it goes back to your point about value. For example, if you want to break into America, you want to get in touch with exchanges. If you want to list in Hashkey, then maybe getting money from Xiao is a great idea, right? So I think if you want to get to Korea, you probably need somebody's help. But why would they help you? They need to have something. And of course, they're gonna, if they're gonna helping you, they should not pay the same price retail is paying, right? Which simply want to flip their tokens, right? So I think it's very simple, just economic designs, and you need to be very clear of what you want to get, and just and I think user too. User just need to be clear, as in, yeah, there is certain validation on the team or on the direction. This is what usually what VC provides, right? Like, this is generally a good team. This is a worthy cause to work on. But is it going to be successful? If you look at the portfolio, I'm LP of many VCs. If you look at the portfolio exit ratio, it's still a typical venture rate, I would say, right? There's no magic behind, I would say, the investment memo or IC calculation. They are also trying to make their calculated bets, right? So I think that's my answer to this question.
Thanks, Alan. Yeah, in Alan's perspective, that we see currently more like a baby sister to the entrepreneurs and the startups. So let's come to Xiao, which Hashkey well known as the early supporter of Ethereum. How do you think the role of current waves will Hashkey?
Yeah, I think the biggest value that VCs can bring is that we can help the startup to grow bigger or help them to scale. In this cycle, especially where meme coin is very popular, you can see that a lot of platforms or tools, they seize the opportunity and build their product and earn the first batch of revenue, or or maybe become cash positive already. But it's quite easy for them to grow from 0 to 1 or to build the product and to go to the market at the first place. But if you want to grow bigger, first of all, you will need resources. You will understand the whole market instead of the niche sectors you are working on. So many founders, they know what they are doing, they know their sectors, and they know their competitors, but they don't know what's the market are looking at or what's the other ecosystem are doing. So this is what VC can educate them, because we have bigger, like a whole picture of the market. And the second thing is that from 0 to 1, probably you only need money or an opportunity, but from 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, probably you need more like branding, endorsement, or confidence that more people can trust you. So this is the value add of VC. And also, yeah, in the real life, you can see that many of the like meme platform, even they are cash positive. If they want to continue their business, some of them are already like reaching out to VC and seeking for some help or advice. So this is what we can do to help them to scale their business or help them to launch in a new market. Especially in our portfolio, we have like almost half of our portfolios are from Western market, like US or Europe. They really, they know Asian market is very active. There's a whole bunch of users or institutions or a lot of like a volume to that they want, but they don't know how to get into this market, and they don't know the mindset of Asian people. So this is what we can bring them, our insight of a brand new market for them. Yeah, so these kind of things are cannot be contributed only by community. It needs to be contributed by VC or institutional investors.
Thank you, Xiaoxiao. Kelvin, how do you think?
Yeah, so I pretty much agree to Alan and Xiaoxiao's remarks. I do want to share my thought on like the VC coin term, because I do feel quite strongly about it. I think in this sense, like VC is kind of seen as a scapegoat. Well, I understand, you know, retail users are tired of being like quote unquote dumped on or whatnot. Well, I gotta admit, you know, there might be some questionable behaviors from, you know, alignment standpoint, you know, when it comes to some of these stakeholders within the industry. I think VC is here for a reason. First of all, it is our job to do deep DD on projects. It is also our job to have skin in the game, to hold it for 4 years, 1 + 3 for vesting term, right? I don't know who needs to hear this, but if VCs and liquid funds are not here, the token is gonna dump, because who's gonna buy it? So yeah, VCs as well as liquid funds, MMs, everyone here is for a reason. I think Alan also raised a pretty good point earlier, and that is VCs are actually used as like signaling you know, use case as well, right? A lot of people see, oh, big VCs branding. You have to understand not a lot of retail investors are that sophisticated. They don't do a lot of DD. They rely on VCs. They rely on KOLs to do their job and then follow them to invest in certain things, right? Our job is to take risks, to make bets into high-risk investments, early-stage investments, into new ideas. Hopefully that will work out, and everyone will be able to, you know, reap rewards out of this, right? So I think it's something that everyone needs to acknowledge before pointing the finger at VC, liquid fund, or whoever, and saying that it's all their fault that I'm losing money. Well, that's my view. I also very much agree with Xiaoxiao's remark. I think VCs bring unique value propositions as well, you know, be it you know, distribution, be it go-to-market, be it tokenomics, you know, planning, strategies, help with listing, right? Not just passive capital. We can also provide capital to bootstrap your protocol as well, right? You know, new protocols need a lot of liquidity. For example, DEX, you know, perp DEXs, they need liquidity, right? Capital, they need capital, and VC is like the best place to obtain that. So yeah, that's my thought on, you know, VC coin term, as well as like how people view VCs. I think moving forward, we need to find a middle ground, right? I think we're trending towards the right direction, and that is, you want VCs, but you also want, you know, community. That's why you have platforms like CoinList, you have like Echo, you have Legion, right? You want both VCs as well as retail investors who are willing to put skin in the game and also go through the same vesting schedule and see the growth and provide value together. That's my view.
Thank you. Excellent insights. And it's clear that community is more and more important, but I think with year by year, cycle by cycle, VC is the one always stand with you, the builders, and I also believe that with the coming waves, VC will play a more important role, and like co-builders not only give financial support, but also some community, some press release, and also some different kind of relations to the startups. So let's come to the next topic. The topic 2 is about regulatory, and with time on we find that the regulatory trends and more and more affect the VC's investment strategy. Especially these 2 years, we find that Hong Kong promotes one by one welcoming policies, while the uncertain for the US policies. So our problem is, our question is about how do these contrasting scenarios impact VC's investment strategy, and how does the regulatory uncertainty of US and the impact the VC's global investment network? I think that's the first question. Let's come to Alan.
You mean just Hong Kong or US?
Both.
Both, right? Well, I think certainly. I think there's a couple of aspects looking at it. Obviously, I think back in 2023, the reason, if you look at like late 2022, 2023, the reason like the whole SAFE plus token warrant thing become a little bit like a mainstream or standard in America is because people trying to, not really because they're interested in the equity piece or they think the equity piece would actually get listed in NASDAQ, but simply because it's a workaround to the regulatory, framework. And now obviously I think, with the most of the, I would say, case or, class act being dropped in America, then we're going to see a comeback of more pure token style things, right? I think the CoinList one is a great example. We're going to see a lot more fun thing, maybe more ICO type of things, which might be also hot fix to some of the VC scenario too, or a pure meme coin scenario too, like something like a hybrid mechanics. So I think a loose regulation is always great because I think, too tight, you can really innovate. And most of the regulators do not really understand this. Second of all, I think on the regulation side, I don't think that regulation in short term would, I would say, make the environment much easier for operator. Maybe in America, yes, because people now can go back to America instead of living in Puerto Rico. You no longer need to sacrifice your lifestyle. But I mean, Hong Kong is pretty good lifestyle, and honestly, also nobody really give a shit about what Hong Kong regulator have to say. Everyone want to know what America has to say. Everyone else just follow America, right? So I think it's kind of like the realistic perspective there. But I think what really the regulation change has brought forward, I personally seen is opening up the upper funnel for talents. So I think talent is a very important concept here in our industry. I think what's worse during every single bear market, like I personally hated the whole, like 2-year, 3-year so-called bull cycle and a 1-year like bear cycle. The whole thing is every single time when we have huge bursts, a lot of really good talent who just went through the 0 to 1 left the industry. And they don't come back. They went to AI now, probably. A couple of years ago, they were probably in biotech. And that really hurt the industry. And also, like, for a period of time, when I go to coffee shop, people ask me what I do. I say, I do technology. I don't tell them I do crypto, right? For maybe a year or two. So I think that's the situation. It's like, the whole industry or the premises for VC is talent. That is at the core of everything. Exceptional talent that drive exceptional or even impossible outcomes, right? And I think regulation is important because if you're a really good talent, you have options, you have choices. why should you come to Web3? If it's demonized or there's a ring of terror against crypto, then obviously I don't want to tell my wife that I want to take the risk. My wife will worry about it, right? If I'm a talented engineer or developer or AI researcher or anything like that. So I think the biggest thing that I'm hoping to see this whole regulation change, apart from the very obvious one like capital inflow, like Wall Street embracing it, maybe a crypto company going IPO, equity will finally have some value maybe over the next 5 years because we're going to see 50 more IPO and M&A. But I think the core is always the long-term thesis for investment is talent, right? So if we can see a lot more talent coming into our industry just because now is in the whites and under the sunlights, then I think it will be really great for the industry to develop, regardless you're an investor, operator, or anyone else's, right? Or just a token holder.
Thank you, Alan QS. I'm from Amber Group, and we just have a SPAC deal, and our sub-business line assets management, we call Amber Premium, just rebuilding last.
Congratulations, $1 billion market cap.
Thank you. I think that I think coming days there might. I heard a rumor that there are more than 10 deals will have our crypto company has IPO or SPAC or that kind of deal listed on Nasdaq maybe in 2025. So I think that I think with the Trump's policy, they give us some new opportunities to exit, especially for VCs, and also for I think it's new opportunities to the entrepreneurs. Let's come to Xiaoxiao. I think that our topic is around the application. Recently, I think TikTok and some also, as Suji mentioned, social is the kind of revolution. So how do you think, and also one topic is that massive adoption, that we want to reach more and more customers, users. So how do I remember you just mentioned that half of your deals is from Western countries like US or Europe. So how do you think the regulation change the impact your investment policy, investment strategies or methodologies?
I can share some interesting observations within our portfolio. So before the US election, many portfolio they're really hesitating whether to issue a token or whether to launch a token, because the regulation, the policy is like uncertain, especially for those application projects. They even hesitating whether to go to the US market and to acquire users from there, because they are not very sure about whether they are doing like active marketing of token. So this will really have impact on our investment preference. So if we are always in this environment, we will prefer to invest in infrastructure, like US infrastructures projects, rather than US application projects, because for infrastructures, they can say that they're doing technology research, they are staying technology neutral. They are not like selling tokens or like doing active marketing. So, but after Trump on boards, a lot of things change. So all of these portfolio, they're very actively looking into tokenomics and having very clear plan to issue token and very clear plan to for listing. So things really change, and our investment thesis will really depends on regulation. But the real problem is not the regulation itself, it's really the uncertainty of regulation. If you know clearly how or where to go and what to do is under the compliance framework, you will just follow it. For example, like this year, everyone is expecting the positive policy about stable coins coming out this year. So a lot of like stable coin projects coming out and raising money in this market. So if the regulation is clear, even it's very strict, the startups will know how to solve the compliance problem. And for VC, it's also a positive signal. So yeah, the short answer is regulation really have influence on our investment thesis, but it's not the deal breaker or something. Yeah.
Thanks, Xiaoxiao. And I think the Spartan Group play a very important role, bridge the East and Western. So how do you think, Kelvin, was that any impact to your thesis?
Yeah, so I think it's a good thing that there are clear regulations, there are better guidelines as to how people should navigate the industry, how people should invest, what's legal, what's illegal. I think it's good. I agree to Alan's point earlier. I think everyone looks at the US, right? I think it's very evidential that after Trump got on, under his administration, a lot more people it's a lot more lenient when it comes to getting tokens out. Prior to his administration, a lot of people were like very cautious. Like, oh, is this going to be considered as security? A lot of them would consider, oh, whether I should turn on the fee switch, right? But afterwards, I think, especially this year, we're seeing a lot of portfolio companies starting to explore the idea of putting out a token, sharing revenue with users. And this actually helps tokenomics in general, because it actually helps accrue value to the token itself. Protocols that are making money could share the money, share the revenue to the holders. I think overall it's a very good thing. Now, moving to Asia, I think Hong Kong specifically, I think Hong Kong is trending towards the right direction. I think it's very much a consensus that in the crypto industry, US has the builders and Asia has the users. And the builder community in Asia reminds me of 2017, 2018 crypto in the US crypto. So there were a lot of like builders, a lot of like weird projects, but over time they managed to get high quality projects out, high quality builders, right? And I see Asia moving the right direction as well. We see a lot of successful entrepreneurs, a lot of good founders coming out of China, Southeast Asia region, some even from Hong Kong as well. So we're actively, looking into this region. I think there's a lot of growth when it comes to builder in this space. And more importantly, I think users are here, mind shares are here. And, we don't lack that in Asia. So yeah, overall, I think Asia's trending towards the right direction. Clear regulation in the US side will certainly help the case. So yeah, very optimistic about investing in Asia in general.
Thank you. I think the topic of regulatory is quite heavy, so let's come to the last topic, the fusion of AI and crypto. I think the voice of AI integration with crypto, I think since 2022, with the launch of ChatGPT. And I think the first wave of AI integrated with crypto is use the integrated the SDK. Then we find the second wave is we find some AI agent and AI agent meme, and also I just forgot the computing power or the GPU infra. And I think recent days there are also some new things launched like MCP. Yeah, MCP. So as I know, both EVG and Hashkey and Spartan have many portfolios of AI, AIX crypto. So can you guys share us how do you evaluate the target or the candidate projects, and what do you think the thesis of AIX crypto and what you can do, what you will do in the coming waves of the AI application. So let's start with Alan.
Yeah, actually we have AI is one of the area we have not been very successful in finding good targets. Like it's one of the area I give a lot of shit to my team. We've looked at, I don't know, like something like 240 so far, and then we haven't approved one. That's the biggest issue. Obviously, we could approve something that's just because your website called .ai and we pretend that it's an AI project, or you can be a little bit more first principle in thinking what AI is going to play a role here. I think Suji's map was interesting, right? If you look at that, it's like, oh, AI increased productivity, and then, but Web3 regulates this the production relationship between user data and also the AI productivity. And I think, but this is honestly much easier to, I would say, said and done. I would say, like, it's really hard to execute them if you actually build product. Like, we were building something AI, but it's like super difficult. It takes a lot of money, and then it takes a lot of process to go through things. If you're actually trying to create a new paradigm, obviously you can just use AI for efficiency gains. Like, I'm sure every one of you are using that. Like, we internally last year successfully lay off like 25% engineers, not because the performance, is because like the AI lab we started in 2023 has increased the overall productivity by about 40%. So this year our goal is to reduce another 25%, but also beat the outputs, because we track all the line of code, we track like how many iterations we got. Like, I have an app that checks basically everybody whether they write the code, whether they got reviewed it, whether it gets to certain things. So I think from actual efficiency perspective, AI is doing so much for an organization. Obviously you can invest in those, but I think if you want to invest in anything that actually, like what Suji wrote, the bigger ideal, I think it's going to take a period of time, because I think even AI is finding its own identity at the moment. Like, I was in GDC for a week, right? I can tell right now, AI company in equity has higher multiples than Web3. Right now, if you're Silicon Valley, you're doing, let's say you're a verticalized AI application company, you can raise probably a 70 times to 100 times in ARR. That's on your top line, ARR, right? And that's before your server cost, basically your gross revenue. And how much Coinbase is trading at right now? 7 times PE, right? So I would say right now, like, if you really think about doing something seriously AI, or you do have the expertise, you might as well want to do clear cut just to work on that. If you want to be very Web3, you got to really think fundamentally what kind of problem AI could solve from Web3. The proposal we really dislike is the one that's trying to just put a bunch of keywords together, pretending it's something that exists, and just get our logo to sell the story, right? Like those things, I don't really look at it as a sincere builder that you want to get involved with, or you want to back.
Thank you, Alan. And yeah, let's come to Xiaoxiao. Once we were colleagues, I learned that Hashkey Capital have a very deep insight around AI crypto. So what's going on? How do you think right now?
Yeah, I want to share Kaito, but yeah, to be honest, I think at this moment, AI and crypto are not really merge with each other, because we can see that the current use cases are only like very light integration with each other. For example, like blockchain startups, they use AI as a tool and as a accelerator of efficiency. And for AI startups, maybe blockchain or token, they can add an incentive layer on top of the existing product. But to be honest, I think it's still early for AI models or agent to understand the logic of blockchain. Especially there is a lot of risk or security issue on chain, and even the real people, we don't understand it very completely. So I think it's still very hard for agent to do real things or like with real capital on chain. So I think the most of the AI crypto AI products, they are only like a user of AI, or probably a user of blockchain. So our investment thesis is that if it's an AI project plus blockchain or token incentive layer, we will evaluate it as an AI product. If it's a blockchain startup using AI, then we will just evaluate it as a blockchain startup. Yeah, it's very easy. Yeah.
Thank you. Calvin?
Yeah, I pretty much agree to what both them what they just said. I think crypto AI is in a weird spot right now. I think there's a reason why crypto AI has been quote unquote underperforming. It's because Web2 AI has been doing very well. Like Web2 AI is just so far more superior. And do you actually need a token along with the idea of using AI? I think that's, debatable. When it comes to specific investments, I'm still trying to wrap my head around why do agents need a token, right? And it's okay not to have a token, right? I personally am more inclined to invest in something that is in the combination of DeepIn as well as AI, right? So to Yukun's point earlier, I think something like shared GPU, right? And then like what Xiao's point, using crypto as an incentive layer, right? To get users to share data, share GPU, right? I think that makes a lot of sense, right? AI that utilizes like these shared GPU, and then that revenue will go to like these people who are sharing their GPU as well as their data. I think that makes a lot more sense than just churning out an agent and then that agent has a token with it. I think when it comes to AI crypto, everyone needs to go back to fundamentals and really think like, why does it make sense to have crypto attach to that specific AI protocol? So yeah, I think these are some areas to look out for. And like I mentioned, I think within AI, the intersection between AI and DeepIn would be the best when it comes to getting good value and seeing more of a synergy between two verticals. Yeah.
Thank you. Time flies. I think we had to close. So I remember I read the post from Rishan today's Twitter. He says that old guys say goodbye, new guys say hi. Yeah, yeah, it's very interesting. Actually, this is the 10th year of when I come to crypto industry. I think every year, every cycle has something new, and every time have something disappears. So we think that maybe we call it a new paradigm or new thesis. I think it's very ordinary, and like the community, like the regulatory, like the newly technologies like AI. Yeah, I think everything's okay. I remember words also from a movie said, "Wars come and go, but my soldiers stay eternal." I think this is both to our VCs and to our entrepreneurs. Well, thank you. Thanks to our panelists and thanks to the audience to join us. Until next time, take care. Thank you.
Thank you, all our guests. Please be seated. Thank you for giving us a meaningful discussions on the topic, new investment thesis in apps, and also give us the introduction of different trendy apps and AI applications and how they can improve our life. 再次感谢我们几位嘉宾带来非常非常精彩的讨论，是一次酣畅淋漓的智慧碰撞。那接下来呢，我们会来到围炉谈话的环节，我们将会邀请2位嘉宾来到台上，分别是 Briefers 的联合创始人 Michael 以及 PancakeSwap CEO Chief Gibbs 为我们带来的主题是 New Dads。Let's give them.
Okay. Hello everyone. So I think like the audiences here can mostly understand Chinese, so we're gonna just like speak in Chinese so that everyone can understand, us better basically. 大家好，非常欢迎大家能来我们的这个围炉谈话的环节啊，也是
非常感谢，尤其这个我们是在大家午饭和这个之间选择了来我们这边听我们聊一聊整个新的这个 DEX 的一些情况。那个我呢先大概介绍一下我自己，我叫 Michael， 我是 Brevis 的 founder。Brevis 做什么事情呢？我们是做叫做 Off-chain Verifiable Computing， 就是链下可验证计算。其实概念非常简单，就是说在 blockchain 上面我们有了这个所谓的世界计算机，对吧？但是呢 blockchain 的这个世界计算机有什么问题呢？就是它最快的一个世界计算机也没有办法快过一个非常快的一台电脑的这样的一个速度。那这个东西怎么办呢？我们有一个办法，就是把一些非常重和非常复杂的计算从链上迁移到链下，然后在链下做完计算之后呢，生成一个 zk proof。然后把这个 zk proof 和计算的结果一起放回到链上，然后让链上去验证了这个计算的结果，就像是在链上完整的进行了这个计算一样，对吧？那么我们这套东西可以干很多不一样的东西，比如说所谓的 data driven DeFi 和所谓的智能这个 DeFi 的这样的一些 use case， 然后也是我们今天想要聊的东西。这个大家肯定觉得现在的市场不太好，对吧？那肯定是这个是我毋庸置疑的。但是呢，就是我们往往看到，在过去如果6、7年在这个 space 里面 build 教会我了什么，就是在市场不好的时候，往往是一些新的 use case 和新的应用萌发的时候。那么我们今天来这里呢，主要是聊一聊新一代的 DeFi 的整个生态。也非常荣幸邀请到了这个 Chef Kids。PancakeSwap 的 CEO 来跟我们一起谈一谈这个方向，因为 DeFi 不得不说是 blockchain 的一个，也是目前能够看到的最好的 product market fit。所以说我们非常想要去看一看整个这个 DeFi ecosystem 将来是怎么样继续去走，怎么样去拓展到一个新的生态。那么非常欢迎 Chef Kids 也来介绍一下您这边的情况。
好的，谢谢 Michael。对，很感谢大家这个在吃午饭的时间来去听这个围炉谈话。我们尽快讲干货，然后讲完干货，大家又可以去享受午餐。PancakeSwap 呢是一个2020年成立的一个 DEX， 然后是一个现货交易所，链上的现货交易所。那我们也是已经经过了一个牛熊的这样的一个 circle 了，所以我们可能也经历过非常这个高光时刻，然后也在熊市的时候怎么去研究打磨产品，怎么去带领团队能够去go through这个比较困难的时期，然后现在又经历到2024年开始的一个新的一个牛市，然后也看到了一些新的生态。对于 DEX 对于现货来讲，我们就是希望能去跟Brevis 这样的这个protocol 去合作，怎么样去能够把 DEX 的这个用户体验，包括这个怎么样去在这个利益分配的时候做到各个利益相关方都能够拿到一个相对来讲比较 reasonable 的结果。这个大概就是我们在不停的这个 feature 的更新和不停的这个产品更新里面的一个核心的这个原则。
好的，就是我们先开始谈一谈整个就是 DeFi 的这个历史和未来的一些，就是尤其关于 Pancake 这边的一些这个计划吧。就是我觉得 DeFi 非常有意思的一点是，它在过去3、4年的时间走完了传统金融可能200年的路程，对吧？从一些这个所谓的当贷，就是 collateralized lending， 到 DEX， 到 perpetual swap 这种衍生品之类的很快的一段时间，我们集中爆发了一个所谓的 DeFi Summer。但是在 DeFi Summer 之后可能在 DeFi Summer 22年到现在2、3年的时间，整个 DeFi Space 相对来说比较沉寂的，大家仍然是 ride on 以前的那种比较简单的，比如说作为 DEX 来说 ，Spot DEX 就是 AMM model， 对吧？就是我们只能去做这种 curve based 的这个 market making， 然后最多我们加入了一些所谓 concentrated liquidity market making， 就能自己去定这个 curve 的区间之类的这样的一个情况。就是我们但是并没有看到一些新的东西出现。但是最近，对吧？我们确实看到，不管是在 DEX space 呀，还是在 Lending space 等等之类的，有一些新的东西在不断的产生。尤其在 Pancake 这边，就是我知道 Pancake 也将最近会 announce 一些新的东西，包括 Pancake Infinity 啊之类的。不知道你能不能可以给我们介绍一下整个 Pancake Infinity 的一些就是背景和情况？
其实刚刚 Michael 提到一点，就是在AMM 这个模式是在上一轮的 DeFi Summer 2020年的时候兴起， 然后其实可能大家在 DeFi Summer 之后呢，他就比较关注一些token 的爆发，然后一些这个模式，可能大家对模式和产品的创新没有那么关注。那其实 DeFi Summer 之后呢，从 PancakeSwap 的这个第一代，就是这个现货交易的第一代到现在，我们已经有3代了。那从第一代到第2代呢，它那个跟Michael 讲的，就可能它还是这个费率是比较单一的，我只能在所有的池子里面，我所有的交易费都是一个。然后到第3代的时候呢，那就有了2个主要的更新。第一个更新就是说，刚刚 Michael 提到，就是你的流动性添加者，你可以把你的你画曲线的时候，你把你的那个你的资金，就是你的流动性放在一个特定的这个价格区间里面，因为in theory 或者说理论上，大部分的池子里面的价格，它就是在一个比较小的区间去摆动，那这个会增加或者会让这个流动性提供者的这个资金的使用效率更高。那第2个创新的或者第2个一个新的一个比较重要的更新就是你的费 tier。原来在V1 V2的时候，你每个池子的费率是单一的，那么到V3的时候就出现了4个这个费率的池子。那为什么会有4个费率的池子呢？是因为我们也看到对一些，因为每个 token 或者说每个项目每个协议方它的这个都是有发展周期的。对于一些刚上来的一些池子或者是代币，那他们在刚去添加流动性的时候，流动性比较少的时候，那流动性添加者为了去最大化它的收益，它可能会把费率放得比较高。那随着这个代币的发展越来越大，它的这个用户基础越来越高，那么这些的流动性添加者会越来越多。那它的这个流动性越变大了之后，它的交易，那用户就是在寻求的就是更低的交易费，那它就会慢慢向那个比较低的交易费的池子去挪。那但是现在的这个说实话，这个模式呢还是以这个画曲线的方式在做。那我们在这个里面也会听到几个不同的声音。第一个是因为每一个代币有周期，那对于一些比如说像现在比较流行的 meme coin， 它的波动性就会特别高。那对于一些比较蓝筹的，比如像以太、BNB 啊、什么 Solana 这些，就是相对来讲它的那个变化圈就比较小，它相对比较稳定的池子。那这个流动性提供者在不同类型的池上，它其实能够获得的收益是非常不一样的。那怎么样让流动性添加者在一个 token 的整个周期里面，它都可以对它的池子进行定制化？第2个费率，我们现在 V3 的费率里面只有4个固定的等级。那么其实对于用户来讲，它能不能够有一个更丝滑的体验，就是有一个曲线型的，我这个费率我想要它的这个颗粒度更细。那其实说到底还是在 AM 这个模式下面，它是一个3方的博弈，一个协议方加上流动性提供者和 user 之间这个3方博弈。那怎么样去让这个3方博弈大家都能够在干到不同 token 不同项目方的不同期间里面都能够去最大化各个利益方的这个收益？那就需要我们对现在这个 swap 去做一个更新和创新。所以我们现在有了下一个版本，我们叫这个PancakeSwap Infinity。那中文我自己简称为这个Pancake 无极限。那其实因为这个模式呢，是因为我们意识到原来的 V3 的这个 V2 V3上，其实是 PancakeSwap， 就是我们作为协议方，我们来主导，我们来开发功能，对吧？我们把这个功能规定好了，然后所有的参与方过来去加入我们这个交易或者说添加流动性。但是其实更开放的模式是因为 PancakeSwap 的这个团队是非常小的，那我们怎么能够去在这个已经比较成熟的平台上去更加的鼓励创新和鼓励不同的开发者能在这个平台上去做一些他们想做的定制化的功能？这个是个核心的我们对于这个 PancakeSwap 下一代叫 Infinity 的一个出发点。所以那 Infinity 呢，它有很多不一样的功能，那其中跟 Brevis 合作比较深的就是去开发一个 hook 所谓的 hook 就是说我刚提到的这个定制化的功能。那可能我们有一个，首先 PancakeSwap 提供一个 Infinity 这样一个平台，然后在这个平台之上，所有的开发者都可以上来去针对某一个类型的池子开发一个定制化的。那这个定制化的功能可能有很多，比如说这个 Brevis 目前在做的2个比较我们非常看好的2个功能是，第一个是如果你的交易量，如果你是一个持续的高频的交易者，那么你的交易费用会有打折。那如果你是某一个 token 的特定的 holder， 比如说你是 PancakeSwap 的 token holder， 你是一个这个 token 的 holder 的这个坚定的拥有者，是一个 OG， 那么你持有这个 token 就值得一些奖励，那么就可以给你更低的交易费率。那同时我们也会就是有一个自己 in house 我们自己开发的一个 hook， 是说就是有一个 dynamic fee， 就是你的这个每个池子它的在不同阶段的或者在不同的市场情况下，它的交易费用是不一样的。这个都是为了去号召，就是让更多这个 AM 这个模式有更多定制化的功能，去开发出这样的一个核心理念。它其实它的这个提供的 feature 或提供新的这个产品的功能还有很多，但是这个 hook 是我觉得能够去激发 让这个 AM 模式有更多可能性，或者说有无极限的可能性，然后去能够做到的一个比较核心的功能。
对，我觉得这个就是 Pancake Infinity， 其实我觉得是一个非常重要的创新啊。就是说，其实从我们的角度理解的话，就是 Pancake Infinity 它改变了整个 AMM 的建设模式，对吧？就是不管是之前的哪一代 AMM， 它最大的一个共同点是什么呢？就是不论这个用户是一个巨鲸用户，还是一个小虾米用户，无论这个 token trade 是什么样的 token。大家的用户体验，大家的 LP 体验都是一模一样的，而这个东西是有一个巨大问题的，对吧？就是不管说我们在这个，就是我们想想我们所有的 Web2 应用，从游戏到现在的金融应用，甚至你银行的应用，对吧？所有每一个应用都是对用户的体验，根据用户自己的行为和形态做了非常深度的定制化的，所以就所谓的 user life experience 的这个或者 UX 的这种 optimization。那从我们的角度，我们为什么觉得 PancakeSwap 的这个 Infinity 是非常重要的？就是它通过这样的一个 plug-in 和 hook 的这样的一个模式，使得开发者能够对整个 swap 的流程当中的每一步做非常高度的定制化。那我举一个刚才稍微拓展一下刚才 Chef Kids 说的这个例子，就是我们看每一个 centralized exchange， 包括 Binance、Coinbase 都有一个非常非常流行的 feature， 就是 VIP Trader Program 或者 Market Maker Program。就如果你在一个交易所交易量非常大的话，那你理应得到一个更低的交易手续费。这个东西不光能够帮助交易所和交易平台带来更高的手续费和这个更强的用户粘性，更重要的是它也能够给普通用户带来更好的 pricing， 因为有 market maker 可以去更有效的去做这个 cross exchange 的 arbitrage。但是在这个传统的 DEX 上面，这个东西是没有办法实现的。当有了 hook 之后，我们就能够说我们动态去调整用户的这样的一个交易手续费。那这里面就涉及到一个问题，就是如何真的去能够让用户去证明他过去的这个是一个非常就是主要的交易手续费啊，或者主要的交易者，对吧？那么这个东西呢，就是用到我们的 ZK Coprocessor， 能够去让用户生成一个 ZK Proof， 去证明他在 On-chain 确实有这样的一个过去的交易的历史，然后能够让他仍然保持在 Blockchain 的完全 Trust-Free 的机制下。能够有这样的一个区别化的或者是定制化的用户体验，这个是我们觉得就是 Pancake 能够带来的一个非常重要的点。那就是 Chef Kids， 你刚才提到了，就是整个我们会把 Pancake Infinity 做成一个这样的一个无限可能性的一个开放的平台。那从开发者的角度来说，那从开发者的话，如何能够去更好的 involve 在整个这样一个开放平台呢？就是我不知道你们这边有没有什么一些未来的计划。
对，就是因为我们建这个平台，我们搭这个舞台，当然是希望更多的开发者能来。那开发者能来，我觉得就是站在双方的角度的立场，我们是希望有更多开发者能去在这个平台上去做更多的创新，对吧？因为只有然后我们也不确定或者也不知道哪一个 hook 是用户能够被就是能够被用户接受和检验的，因为最终我们作为一个protocol 或者作为一个协议，你最终还是要被市场去检验，要被用户去检验。那我们也觉得就是在看到现在这个第一呢，市场可能没有那么火热的情况下，我们也理解到所有的开发者可能他会有他的不同的 concern。那我觉得我们能够做的，第一个呢是我们先搭建这个平台，这个平台先搭建好了，然后我们也有了像 Brevis 这样的先驱，已经过来去做了比较这个重要的或者我们比较看好的一些 hook 的这个开发。那为了去鼓励更多的开发者过来，第一个呢是我们能做的可能就是因为它开发的 hook 是一个在 PancakeSwap 这个 Infinity 之上搭建的一个单独的合约，那单独的合约，第一它就需要审计。那这个呢，可能对于很多这个初始的开发者说，我有好的 idea， 我有好的想法，我有好的执行能力，但是我可能在那个funding上我会有些困难。这个都是我们 PancakeSwap 再去考虑的。第一个呢，可能在你初始的这个做完开发之后，提供这个初始流动性，以及你这个项目去做审计的时候，我们可以给到一些审计的支持。目的就是在做这个冷启动的时候，大家是一个 co-working 的这样的一个状态。等到这个冷启动做完了，然后大家能够被用户、被市场去检验，发现这个东西是 work 的，是被用户所喜爱的，被用户所喜欢的。那我们在一起去做 scale up， 我觉得比较难的可能真的是从0到1的这个过程。对，其实我也很想问 Michael， 就是当时在做这个ZK Coprocessor 的时候，是怎么想到是 触发点或者动机是什么要去解决这样一个现实的问题，就是解决把CEX 的这种 VIP program 这种去鼓励忠实用户的这样一个粘性用户的，把它带到链上的这样一个动机。
对，就是我们当时看的这个问题其实比较简单了，就是觉得就是在思考，就是说为什么链上的 dApp 的这个用户体验都是这么单一的，但是在 Web2 里面你可以有各种各样的所谓的用户运营的 feature 啊，就是你看到无数的这样的一个用户留存的 feature 用户拉新的 feature 在这些这个所谓的传统的不管是交易所也好，传统 Web2 app 里面出现，对吧？就是我们在思考说为什么一些所有的 decentralized application 都没有这样的一些特性和功能，对吧？然后我们发现这个东西可能确实是一个共性的问题，就是说在smart contract 它其实没有那么的 smart， 就是它其实是一个就是怎么说眼界非常狭窄的一个这样的一个这样的一个实体，就它只能看到区块链当前现在的状态，它没有办法去回溯到历史。从理论上来讲，大家觉得这个非常的怎么说反直觉，对吧？因为 blockchain 嘛，你总是能够看到过去的，对吧？对，那么就是在理论上来说，这个东西确实是可能的，但是 turns out 这个东西实际上是一个非常非常怎么说高成本的这样一个计算那么这个东西就是为什么我们要去做 Brevis 的其中一个非常重要的初衷，就是能够去真的改变在 on-chain 的 application 当中的一些用户的体验和用户的行为，根据他过去的一些体验和行为去改变。那么正好有这样一个 PancakeSwap 的 hook 的这样的契机，我们觉得正好是一个非常好的切入点，可以去做这样的事情。对，我觉得整个 DEX Space 在过去几年其实发展速度非常快啊，就是我们看整个 DEX 和这个 Centralized 交易量的之间的比值，在过去的5年的时间，这个比例缩小了，就是这个 gap 缩小了接近20倍。这样的发展速度其实是非常惊人的，就是我不知道从这个 Chef Kiss 的这个角度来去看这个 DEX 和 Centralized Exchange 之间的这个关系，虽然就是发展的确实很快，但是还是仍然会有一个 gap。我不知道就是说你觉得10年之后、5年之后，整个这两个不一样的交易 venue 交易场所的这个比例会是怎么样的呢？
首先作为一个 DeFi 的从业者，那肯定是这个我们坚定的，我们 firmly believe DeFi 一定是 the future， 对吧？这个是一个作为行业者的这个自觉。那我首先是这么坚定的认为，是因为首先这个刚 Michael 讲的这个数据很重要，其次呢就是其实大家我不知道最近有没有关注到一些中心化交易所在做一些很有意思的事情最近2个中心化交易所都去给他们的中心化交易所的用户开了 DeFi 的通道，就是他们中心化交易所可以在不开钱包的情况下，可以直接用中心化交易所的资产去买 DeFi 链上的资产。那这个是一个意味着什么呢？意味着就是他们也觉得现在中心化交易所的问题就是他们的这个链，他们这个库里面的资产是有限的，上币有非常严格的这个 on-chain 的有非常严格的第一的流程，可能会比较慢，然后上链之后因为中心化的操作嘛，因为它有审核的过程，可能也被传统的 DeFi 社区没有那么容易接受，因为会有一些大家会讨论的这个问题。那他们开这个是为了给他们现在一个，但是事实是中心化交易所用户量更大，那怎么让给这些用户量更大的，就把它的这个 access 打开，那他们打开的第一个选择是 DEX， 或者第一个选择是链上的资产。我觉得这是一个非常 strong 的 sign， 对于我们这些从业者来讲都是一个阶段性的胜利，因为大家这些中心化交易所都给他们的用户打开了这个链上资产，那一定是意味着他们也看到了同样的未来，看到了同样的希望。所以我觉得未来一定是就是因为链上它还是有更多，我自己的经验是确实更活跃度更高，所以我觉得这个是大家比较我们坚定这个方向是对的，只是这个 time frame 的话是5年是10年甚至更长，我觉得取决于我们真的 DeFi 上有没有这个有没有技术的创新，有没有让我们的那个用户体验变得更好，这个是核心，现在让很多新的用户来去我们 DeFi 上玩的一个核心的 hurdle。 对，是的，是的。那就是对于你觉得就是说在可能5年10年之后，整个 DeFi ecosystem 不光是 DEX，就是会长成什么样子呢？就是它会真的去 tap into 这个所谓的 mass adoption， 就是每一个人的这样的生活当中吗？还是说它仍然会停留在一个比较小的这样一个 blockchain native， 就是或者说就是区块链内生的这样一个生态系统当中呢？现在其实我不知道大家有没有发现，就是比如说现在在中心化交易所里面，大家往往只用一个 app。 就是我在中心化上，我用一个 app 我就可以解决我很多，我可以去解决我的现货、期货、借贷，甚至现在他们给中心化交易所开了链上的玩法，对吧？但是在 DeFi 里面，大家都有每个赛道都有每个赛道的龙头 ，DEX 有 DEX 的龙头，然后期货有期货的龙头，然后借贷有借贷的龙头。是为什么？是因为现在在链上大家的这个交易体验还是相对割裂的。但是我作为一个用户，比如说，这个10年之后，我的妈妈。它不可能去 engage 每一个这个 DeFi 赛道里面的每个 DApp， 它一定是有一个单一入口。这个单一入口，我们认为会是钱包。对，那只是其他的 DeFi 的生态怎么去跟这个钱包去做深度的融合，这个可能我觉得是就是让我们这些 DeFi 就是从业者去想的，怎么样去让我们的生态去给到钱包结合，然后给到有一个比较好的用户体验，这样才能增加用户在链上玩。相对来讲，它没有那么复杂，然后用户的教育也需要过程，可能钱包是其中某一个阶段的选择。那这个钱包过后之后，等到大家用钱包像用微信一样。像用银行 APP 一样，那也可以，可能每个赛道都会有一个龙头。我们感觉它的发展路径应该是这样的一个模式。
就是从 Super App 到 Super Interface， 然后再到一个就是embed到所有不一样的这个用户的日常生活的 App 当中。好，
是的。
好，非常感谢大家。我们今天这个虽然只有20分钟时间，但是希望聊了一些干货。也感谢大家能来我们这个Fireside Chat。好。
谢谢 very much， 感谢2位嘉宾带来的围炉谈话，为我们介绍了如果想要 DeFi 的未来呢发展得更好，客户的体验呢也是非常重要的。那接下来我们会有一个午休的时间，下午的环节将会在2点钟正式开始。